Evan,
Nathan.
are you a believer?
I was like, what does believing have to do with Loki? But no, I saw Exorcist believer, and I'm not a
Oh,
believer. Uh,
well, welcome to episode 107, everybody, of My Cup of Tea. We're back, season 1, episode 7. Can you believe it? 107.
oh, I was like, you know, uh, speaking of season 1, episode 7, Gen V season 1, episode 7 happened yesterday.
Yeah, look
Uh,
at that. And I'm caught up, and I'm...
it was fantastic. Loki's ending in 2 weeks already, which is just why do these shows have to be 6 episodes? It's astonishing for me, especially with what we got at the end of episode 4. Um, it felt like how I felt like with Ahsoka, where episode 4 ended, but at least we had episodes 5, 6, 7, and 8.
Mm-hmm.
For Loki, episode 4 is a huge cliffhanger, just like Ahsoka, but we only have 2 episodes left. And I'm like, are they going to be able to fulfill all the things that I think there should be discussing in the next 2 episodes? So here's hoping. This time last year we were entering the unknown space, the hellscape, with the multiple Lokis, and they had to fight the whatever, and then the finale was the finale. So here's hoping Loki can end out on a strong note. I've been having a blast so far. Loki season 2 has been so great, so great, so great. But overall, yeah. I also saw Exorcist Believer today, and similar to your thoughts from a couple weeks ago.
Let me pull up my review.
Wasn't great, Bob. It's astonishing. Having watched Exorcist 3 before this, I'm
maybe
just
I should.
like,
Maybe I shouldn't have done that to you.
no. I mean,
Maybe I shouldn't have shown you the light.
I mean, that's how it released after Exorcist 3, right? So most people did see Exorcist 3. I mean, if they went to the movies and saw it.
But you haven't seen 2 like I have. You don't know how much
No,
worse it could be.
you're right. You're right. If it's worse than this one, yikes. Exorcist 3 set up a great template on how to do Exorcist sequel, right? And I don't mean to say like making movies is easy, because it's not. But Exorcist 3 talked about like how just have a great detective story, fun characters, some horror jump scares, and an exorcism, and that's pretty much it. That's all we really want. And this movie lacks any compelling characters, minus the father, who I forget his name already.
Leslie Odom Jr.'s character.
Yeah, Leslie was fine. But yeah, it's like this movie it felt so hollow, but especially by the end.
Didn't it feel rather one-sided about which family you should care about?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, when the question gets posed towards the end of the movie about like only one may survive, and I'm just like, well, there's no suspense here. It kind of reminded me what we talked about with Five Nights at Freddy's yesterday. We were like, there's no suspense. One, because it was predictable, and just two, because there was no like reason to care, because we had a lack of information, presumably.
I figured they were gonna save both of them. I didn't think they were gonna.
Oh, really?
Double down on. No, yeah, for real. We're taking one. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I mean, it was a darker ending, slightly, but also it's like I didn't really care. I didn't care about the other family at all. Was I supposed to? I didn't know jack shit about them besides of their base characteristics that they were religious.
I said before, they cut a very brief moment during the exorcism where that girl who gets lost, she's like pleading to her mom that she doesn't want to go to hell, and they cut it from the movie, and I think that was a big disservice, because just like the delivery in the trailer was like, oh my god, it's a fucking child begging not to be burning in the depths.
Yeah.
Why would you cut that? I don't know. It was like 5 seconds.
It was weird.
Also,
yeah, spoilers for Just Believe It, by the way.
Yeah. Well, I think now we're long enough. It's on digital. If you wanted to see it already, I believe you have. I had also said the demons look too like generic modern day demon.
Do we even see the demons?
I mean, they're very quick, but yeah, you do. And they're not as like creative like the flashes you see of like the Pazuzu face in the original one. It's very like heavy, like prosthetic makeup, not just like creative lighting painting like the original was.
I didn't really notice the demon too much. I mean, I feel like the flash cuts were more effective in the first one. And this one, maybe because I was just bored, but I didn't really take the time to even look at the demon's face. I mean, it's very quick and cutty. I understand why they did it because the first one did it so well, but I think the first one lingered more, or maybe it was just my imagination. But maybe I was more invested in the first one. That's why I remember what Pazuzu looks like compared to this one. I'm just like, I don't know. Should I care? And even in the first one, the demon, it got some backstory where they took the time to talk about like the whole first act of not first act, the opening of the first Exorcist is all about another person who hardly even shows up in the movie. And it's about like the excavation and the demon and all that kind of stuff. This one we just jump right into the character backstory, which was effective, but at the same time, I don't know. I just didn't feel as connected to any of these characters. And what they did to Reagan's mom, what's her name?
Chris.
Awful. That is ridiculous. Like it felt like studio mandate. This movie felt very studio mandated, by the way, especially after hearing what like Chris Duckman's review of Exorcist 3, all the studio mandates there. It felt like they went like, let's do that again for Exorcist Believer. Just have them do this over the top exorcism.
They
the crazy effects and all this craziness that I just did not care for. And then let's bring back the mom from the first one, and she's gonna do jack shit,
which was quite a heavy influence in the marketing, in all of the marketing. That you think she's going to have a much larger role,
and even in the marketing. If I'm a bigger fan of the Exorcist, which I like the Exorcist, I'm not the hugest Exorcist fan. I just saw it this year, but like if I was a big fan, and I'm like, oh yay, the old lady's back. Like, does that move the needle for people? I mean, that's what producers think, obviously, but like, it didn't have the impact on.
I was kind of hooked.
I mean, it's the mom. It's the mom character. It's like I didn't care.
The performance from the mom in the original.
It was great. But it's like this one coming back, I was just like, what can she add to the movie? Yeah, especially after seeing the first Exorcist, I'm like, she had a big role as the mother of the story, but now that she's not the mother of the story, what role could she possibly have? Like, having saw the trailers before seeing the first Exorcist movie, I thought she was part of The Exorcist, right? Like, I thought she was going to be, but she wasn't.
As an exorcist.
Yeah, but she wasn't in the first movie. She just was there, and she wasn't even in the room.
Right.
So it made it even more weirder that they had her in this movie. She added absolutely nothing to the movie. She could have not been there in the movie. Is the exact same movie.
It is very unfortunate. I just feel like it's like
she's stabbed in the eyes. Why?
Yeah, that's a needlessly cruel.
It made no sense. And that she can't even see the daughter that she's been waiting to see for so long.
That's fucked.
And even then at the end, I'm like, oh, fuck you, movie. Like, let's bring in camera pan. Reagan. Are we supposed to go crazy over that? It meant nothing to me. Nothing. I didn't feel anything.
It didn't mean anything for me in the context of the film, but I thought it was a sweet moment as a Exorcist fan. But no, as in functioning in the movie, no, it doesn't.
I didn't care.
It doesn't function there.
I didn't care. But it's again the template for a good movie is in Exorcist 3, in Exorcist 1. Actually, like, let me care about I cared so much about Damien in the first one. They took the time to see Damien at a grocery store, Damien jogging in the college university, Damien going to see his mom. And I think, how long is the first Exorcist? Only like 2 hours and 5 minutes. It's not a super long movie.
It's 2 hours. If you watch the extended cut, it's 2:12.
2:12. A normal blockbuster movie, right? And this movie is an hour and 50. And I started laughing when that random priest dude was like, I can't help you right now, I can't do this. And then
Oh,
10
him,
minutes later he comes
Coward.
in, boom, I'm here to help save the day. The music soars,
And he
and
gets
I'm like,
murked.
I don't care about you. Like, this is supposed to be like the big, like an episode in the first episode, like a Damien moment where Damien's here to save the day.
Yeah,
But I didn't care. And then he gets his neck cracked. I'm like, I started laughing. I was like, it was supposed to be a comedic moment, right? It wasn't supposed to be this dramatic moment. I don't even know his name. I don't care about you. I don't know who
yeah.
you are in this
It,
story.
it is very weird that they set up like a triumphant, like this is our last piece we need for like the energy to take the demon down, and then that's not the case, and it just comes down to having to play the demon's game.
And I felt there was a lack of demon entity in this movie. Like, there was a lack of the demon speaking through the children, in my opinion. I felt like in the first movie, it was a bigger process of like, you would cut to how do we save Reagan to Reagan cussing out the priest. How do we save Reagan to Reagan like becoming more and more possessed, more and more like demonic. And this
I
one, it was we hardly got the demon voice. I didn't understand what the demon wanted besides he just wants children.
I think a bigger like thing they lost focus on is when it came to Reagan in the original. It would go back and forth between like the demon being messed up and controlling Reagan, and then putting Reagan back into the world in a suffering place. Like she's constantly being tested on, and it's painful and it sucks, and she's just like, it's
Yeah.
like back and forth. Like you have control. You're aware of your surroundings.
It
You're
was
trapped.
morbid. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very like you really feel the sense of entrapment. Whereas here it's primarily just like demons got him. You're not gonna see him until the end of the movie. The real them until the end of the movie.
Yeah. Like, there was no cool back and forth. I mean, yeah, there was no cool back and forth between the exorcist, I mean, the demon and the parents, right? Like, but I did like the one line about, you chose the mother, like, over the daughter. That was a cool, like, oh, that was a cool reveal. When he told the father, like, you wanted to save the mother and not the daughter, kind of that reveal.
I
That was
I was
cool.
I really like the moment when he is doubling down on choosing her, and he finally like gives up his wife's scarf to her, just to make that
Mm-hmm.
connection. I thought it was a beautiful moment there. It's very quick, very nice though in the context of the story. But yeah, I understand. There's definitely but I also do come to bat that I don't think this is like one of the worst fucking movies I've ever seen. Like a lot of people are saying, Josh. Uh, it's just
No,
uh,
it's a bad horror movie. It's a bad exorcist movie, and it's funny because this year, like, we've come to not appreciate, we come to watch like these horror franchise movies, like Saw 10, and
mm,
having seen the original 9 Saw movies before that, we come to understand what the franchise is about, and the template that
like what works and
successful.
what doesn't.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, what works and what doesn't for the Saw movies. And I took that into Saw, or Exorcist Believer here. I'm like, okay, this is what worked in Exorcist 1 and 3. It did The Exorcist 2. And I was like, okay, let's see how they craft a modern day Exorcist movie. And it fails. And I'm just like, and they fail the basic stuff. Just let me care about the characters. Why am I only caring about the father? He's the main character, sure, but like, the Exorcist is based on the 1 and 3 are a cast of characters. Like, plus Exorcist 3, which I think is the best one.
Mm-hmm.
The detective, the doctor, his family. Even we barely even see his family, but we still care that he has a family and his connection to this family. We also care about the. We don't care, but we're invested in the serial killer. In whatever, and that whole in Damien's return, right? Spoiler,
Yeah.
sorry, but like there's we care about a number of different characters. We're invested in the story. This one lacked investment after the first 30 to 45 minutes. I think the first 30 to 45 felt like I was watching Prisoners, where you get like a great missing persons case, or like what happened to my children. The families are going back and forth. I'm like, okay, we're cooking here. Like, what happened to these children? But then it diverges into a basic possession BS that I just didn't care for. I was pretty much bored halfway through the movie. I was just like, okay,
Yeah.
we're doing this, and it was paint by numbers till the very end.
Yeah, and I hate to be the person that's like, well, in the original.
Yeah.
But I do think that when you look to, because they're basically doing the same thing, Um, when you had the scenes with Reagan in the first film, there were at least like 3 scenes where you got to spend between Reagan and her mom as like normal people, to really like build up that relationship. So like when she starts to be lost and estranged, it's even more impactful. I think we had like the one breakfast scene, getting ready for school in this one, and then she went missing.
I agree. And comparing that to Exorcist 3, I think the template that we can find here is that we care between the back and forth. And like we keep on saying, we care about the back and forth between the tormented, possessed victim. In this case, it was the daughter, but in other cases, it was like it was Damien in 3. And then in 1, it was Reagan. Like we care about the back and forth between the possessed and the people trying to save them. And yes, in this case, it's a father and daughter. We should be caring. We should, and to a degree, we do. But like you're saying, it's for some reason it's not enough. There's not a lot of back and forth once Abby, whatever her name is, Angela, whatever, the daughter becomes taken over. There's not a lot of back and forth, right? It's just the father trying to save her, but there's no like daughter father back and forth throughout the second half. It's just him trying to save her, going from point A to point B. From let's go to Chris, let's go to the doctor, let's go to here, try and save my daughter, and then like the last 20 minutes are this exorcist in the house, but it's not a lot of back and forth that we like. Because like, how many times did the mom go back to see Reagan in Exorcist 1? A lot. It was like, let me go back home, see what she's up to. And oh no, she's shoving a cross up her, you know what? And in Exorcist 3, it was like, how many times did he go back to the prison or mental facility to talk to him? It was a lot. We even got a whole monologue. Like,
great monologue.
There was none of that here. And like, there's a monologue, not monologue, but there's a big discussion in Exorcist 1, the Reagan to the priest or Reagan to the mom. Like, there was a lot of great iconic scenes there. And here it's just like, again, he hardly even talks to the daughter after she becomes possessed. It just becomes him trying to do it. We care about him, but not him and his daughter as much until, again, the very end where some stuff does work. But yeah, this is the epitome of there's a great movie in here somewhere. I can salvage.
Looks good.
It looks good. Yeah.
Sounds good.
Sound design solid. There's some spooky elements in the first half that I liked. But yeah, yeah, not great, Bob. Probably my least favorite horror movie of 2023.
So less than less than 5 nights.
Am I forgetting something? Oh. Am I forgetting something? The movie that we just watched. Check out our commentary from yesterday where we watched Five Nights at Freddy's on Peacock.
For the first time.
For the first time in forever. And
did you like it more or less than
Halloween
Ends? Since it's the same director.
I liked Halloween Ends more. At least they were trying something. It wasn't. I hate saying this because I sound like those idiot Star Wars movie people. It's not a good Star Wars movie, but it's a good movie. But Halloween Ends
didn't stab Lori in the eyes.
No,
which is funny because there's like at least like 2 other like sequel installments in like the old Halloween movies that like kill Lori fast.
Yeah, I need to watch the other. That's why I have you, Nathan. Maybe we should do fuck October. Like, we should just continue doing Halloween sequels because I'm very curious about how the Halloween sequels go.
You want to see to add to your introducing Johnny Depp. You want to have introducing Paul Rudd.
Yes, exactly. Prior to Clueless, because that's my first Paul Rudd thing. But anyways, we're talking about like seeing the template for the movies. And I have no idea what the template for the Halloween movies is outside of the original and the David Gordon Green trilogy.
It would be interesting for you to see the initial Halloween 2 that came out back then, which is solid.
But anyways, I don't. I'm saying that because Halloween Ends doesn't feel like a proper Halloween movie from somebody who's only seen 4 of them. But it has some solid character work stuff in there. The ending is fulfilling. This one, I didn't feel that way. So I think I would rather go watch Halloween Ends again, even though there's a dramatic lack of Michael Myers doing his thing. But they were trying something different.
If you were to give three three things to improve for
Ooh.
a follow up since they want to do a trilogy. What three things would you offer them to follow?
Ooh. Like what things they could do to make a better movie, or
Yeah, what can they focus on more to improve?
give me another good detective story. Or maybe I'm so biased because Exorcist 3 is just totally up my alley. I love a good detective movie. That's my favorite genre. But like, I feel like they could do that instead of doing like they can't go the family route again if they do an anthology. I don't know if they're doing an anthology or just following up with this character. Maybe they will with Leslie. What can he do anymore? I said that, but then like Exorcist 3 is so far removed from Exorcist 1. It's like
It like it is a sequel, but it's 15 years later, and it's side characters.
it's side characters like you hardly know. But anyways, good detective stories. I would take the time, a better back and forth between the possessed and the pursuer. I guess it's, I don't know, the savior character. Because that's like the best parts of the movie. It's like the long discussions or short interspersed discussions.
Yeah.
And then here's one. You don't have to go over the top for your possession end sequence, your exorcism. And this is, I know 3 does it because the studio mandate stuff. Now that I know, but it's over the top in 3. It's not great, but it works because of the one moment when Damien's like, "Do it now," and it's like, "Oh shit!" And that's some great shit.
That's really good.
Like
It's also quick.
it's quick, and it's brutal, right? Like the skin's clinging to the ceiling.
He's scalped.
In this one, black goo shoots out of the mouth, enters the roof.
There was some mist
It's
stuff,
it's so whack.
seeing an effect like that, I'm like, we've gone too far.
We've gone to. It
In a
felt
few
too
places.
far, and that's coming from somebody. And again, for instance, 3, where there's hell being opened up, and that wasn't too far.
And,
But like,
and it's funny. I'm not necessarily asking for like it needs to be more like grounded practical effects, even though those are great. It's just like less is more. Like in the original, they had like a mouth rig that like shot pea soup to make the grotesque vomit look, and it's very striking visually. It's impactful. It's not like when I see that mist, I'm instantly thinking like, okay, this is a digital effect that they're painting in.
big time. And yeah, if you want to go over the top, sure, do that. Let me care by then, though, because I didn't care by this point.
A great example of this is in a great horror movie this year, Talk to Me. When our main girl gets possessed for the first time, they had said they originally had like her hair doing like a floating effect, but they felt it went too far and took you out of the moment, so they scrapped that.
Oh wow, Talk to Me is the best horror movie of 2023. Best ending I've seen. Top 5 ending of the year for me.
It's pretty great.
I remember being in the theater. I'm like, if they end it this way, I'm walking out cheesing, and they did. And I'm like, wow, they read my mind. They're like, I know how to be a huge Evan core movie, and it ended that way. And I'm like, yes, and it was great. And Talk to Me has a fantastic ending, fucking tastic. Anyways,
I still got Saw X a little over it, but it's neck and neck. They're great.
That's fair.
That's just a personal love of the franchise, though.
Saw is a fantastic franchise.
But also, they really did great in Saw X with John's story, man.
Saw X is fantastic. Top 5 horror franchise.
But Talk to Me, I think, has like an up in the sense that it's so original.
It was so original. I didn't see it coming. It had that wow factor for me.
I went in pretty blind as well, so that was.
Talk to Me in terms of horror originality. Like, this is when I experienced The Witch for the first time, and I adore The Witch. I know not everybody loves it, but I think The Witch is one of my favorite horror movies ever. And
I'm with you.
I was just like blown away. It's one of those movies where I'm just like, every scene I'm like this because I'm like, what's gonna happen? But then you finish it, you're like, that wasn't that scary, but it was very impactful.
Yeah.
Anyways, speaking of Talk to Me real quick, my favorite book series of all time is Gone by Michael Grant. It's about these teenagers stuck in San Francisco area, a Bay Area, fictional area, and there's like a globe thing, like whatever, an orb around their town, and it's basically it becomes Lord of the Flies, where they can't, they're enclosed from the outside world. And the teenagers gain superpowers, and they fight other factions of teenagers, and it's again like Lord of the Flies, and it's like battles and alien stuff that's happening. I love it. It's romantic, dark, mythological, fantastic. Michael Grant had been teasing on Twitter that a TV or movie adaptation could be in the works from the Talk to Me directors. And I was like, that would be genius, because Gone is a very horrific series at times, but it's also very YA at the same time. And I was like, those Talk to Me people would be a perfect fit for like a YA horrific TV series
with superpowered people.
It's fantastic, dude. It's like this kid Sam, and his friend who just, out in the town one day, and then next thing you know, they can't get back home, and they defend for themselves, and they start having, like, he has laser hand, other person has gravity powers. It's telekinesis is the main villain.
Their stuff on YouTube, they have quite a bit of background on both effects and like stunt work. So
oh wow,
yeah, their channel
awesome.
Raka Raka, they've done so many things.
Interesting. I need to look up them some more, because I saw a tweet from Michael Grant. I've been following for over a decade now, because fantastic author. So if nobody's ever read the Michael Grant Gone series, just Gone, it's Gone, then Hunger, then Lies, then Fear, then Plague, then Light. Light is the last book.
You got 5 books?
5 books.
Was this Percy Jackson?
I know, right? One of my other favorite book series of all times.
Is that December?
December 20th, 2023. Yep. Oh, man.
We're covering a new episode on Christmas. Fuck.
We get no breaks. We're here on Christmas. We podcast on Christmas. Let's go.
If it was any other show, Evan would say fuck that. But because it's Lightning Thief, he's like, you sit down or talk about this blue Coca-Cola.
Nathan, give me an hour. We're going to be here.
Again, give me the fucking blue Coca-Cola, and I'll be happy.
I can't wait. Yeah, we'll be definitely recapping that series weekly, because first 2 episodes, I think, dropped.
Dare we watch the movie?
No, we're good.
If I pull it for my birthday wish commentary, then what?
Then you're fucked, because I am not going to be in here.
We're sitting down for a mystery viewing.
Bring Carson back for that shit. I'm good, man.
I still never watched Sea of Monsters.
It's not great. I forgot that I did watch it. It's a movie.
I had a fun time with Lightning Thief.
I like it because what's the Annabeth actress name? What's her name?
Alexandra Daddario.
She's hot as hell, so that was a big pull for me.
Okay. Fucking spit my drink. They'd be like, I like the actress for Grover, which I do too.
Oh, you mean the one who gets killed brutally in Fast 4?
Yes. Yes. He did. Why?
Man, Nathan.
That's Brandon T. Jackson?
Sure. 28 minutes in, we haven't talked about what the show's all about.
The 2 episodes we have to cover.
2 episodes to go through Loki. This can be a long.
And will we discuss Gen V? Do we do Gen V now real quick?
No, let's save Gen V for last. Let's get to what they want. And what I took all these fucking notes for.
I just finished both episodes
of Loki.
Yeah.
Oh, sweet, you motherfucker!
And within the hour, I was like, I need a quick thumbnail. I'll try not to go above and beyond, and I couldn't help it. I still added more elements than I needed.
Why are my eyes blurring up here? But that is a fantastic thumbnail.
Hey.
Yeah, I like it a lot. I've been having a blast. What?
I didn't mean to ask for praise. I was just
well, you're gonna get it, motherfucker.
Oh! They'll think I'm conceited. They can't know that.
I'll go into my notes here. But what I loved about Loki season 2 so far, just a quick season 2 retrospective. I'm having a blast. I think romantically, it's singing to me. It's no news here, but I come to Loki season 2 for the Sylvie and Loki scenes, the silky of it all. And I'm so happy with what they've been doing for these characters in the past 2 episodes. I was nervous because after the reviews for season 2 so far, it was about the early reactions were all about the timeline, and it might be a bit confusing and it might be a bit too timey, but I'm having so much fun with Loki season 2 so far. It's a great show, and I'm like, all these great praise for Loki season 2, but where's the Sylvie? And so far, so good with Sylvie. She's been interspersed throughout the season in such a pivotal and thematic way that just it works so well for me. The way they embody like order, chaos, and progress and change, and Loki's trying to change the TVA. That's his main arc right now, trying to change the TVA for the better. And Sylvie's there trying to be like helping him, but also not regretting, just like also giving an opposing point of view for like how the TVA can't change, but at the same time, she's changing as well. There's a lot of just a process of change and rebirth that we'll get into with episode 4 for sure. But I was looking at my notes, and at the end of episode 2, I said, "Oh, one of my main theories is that we're going to get a Renslayer solo episode." Didn't happen, but episode 3 definitely delivered on Ravonna material for sure.
It was getting pretty romantic in there.
It was, and I think one of my main. I could probably go back and find my reaction to episode 3, but I'm pretty sure I said they're giving us a parallel, not parallel, but just like a more so perpendicular arc between Loki and Sylvie and Ravonna and He Who Remains / Kang, whatever you want to call it. Even Victor Timely here, even though Victor is different from He Who Remains, their dynamic with Ravonna is very much about like a selfish, desire-ish kind of thing, while Sylvie and Loki is all about like hope and renewal and change. So two different dynamics going on two different paths. I think that was like the pivotal heart of episode 3. And then episode 4 is all about like we're in the process of changing it, and there's all this frantic tension, but at the same time, it's like about renewal, rebirth, and the cyclical nature of everything, which I think we're looking forward to in episode 5 and 6. But how is everything gonna? In order to change, you have to, death and rebirth. Like, Harry couldn't save the world without killing himself, right? So it's very much a mythological.
Harry Osborn, you mean?
Exactly. But someone's gonna put a Spider-Man 2 spoiler in the chat now. But what's it called? I think it happens in mythology all the time, right? Where let me sacrifice myself to come back and then later change the world. So I think that's what we're looking forward to in episodes 5 and 6. And I'm very excited and happy with what we've been getting so far between Loki and Sylvie. And Loki, just like his hero arc is so fucking great so far this season. I'm having a blast, especially this last episode. Just his talk with Sylvie was excellent. I can't wait to get into that.
I was compelled.
The power of Christ compelled us.
It did.
But yeah, your quick thoughts before we dive into episode 3 first. Like your thoughts. Yeah, have you been enjoying everything? No.
It's not for me.
You're more of a Falcon Winter Soldier
guy. Yeah, I'm more of a She-Hulk person personally. More of a what other shows do people like? I can't think of it. I like them all. More of a What If guy. A lot of people don't like What If, apparently.
I mean, it's different.
I love it all. But this has been great. I think the camera work has been top notch. They've been doing this interesting thing where like people will be like sitting in a stagnant shot and they'll be like drifting. B-15 was talking to like one of the leaders of the TVA, and like in the corner of the shot was the monitor of the timeline branches, and it was just like slowly panning toward it as they were discussing stuff. And it was just like, God damn it, this is very nice.
Great shot. I remember that, yeah.
Or even just the way that like they like traverse the camera angle, like walking through one of the TVA time doors. It's on another level compared to all the other installment shows that they've been doing. And the acting has been wonderful. I think we've probably gotten some of Tom Hiddleston's most compelling performances in this series. I think he's done wonderful in everything he's done for Marvel, but he really brings so much vulnerability for an extended period in this, and it's beautiful. I feel like the only like way you could top it even more for me to have him like break down emotionally would be if like randomly he ran into a variant of Thor and then they reconcile. And that would be like a series finale thing, but like it's so good. And I don't think the show would do that in a way where it would solely be fan service. I think they would figure it out in a very meaningful way because the show has proven time and time again it loves to show these characters caring.
Yeah, I agree, right? Like these characters are so compelling as hell. And that's what makes the show so different from the other Marvel shows, other Disney Plus shows in general. Like we're getting some great one-on-one. I keep asking for the basic shit with the Disney shows. Just give me some great one-on-one scenes, and we're getting that in spades with Loki. There's a scene when I thought the episode's about to end, but we go into the ship in episode 3, and it's just a scene between Ravonna and Timely. I'm like, oh man, I was just eating it up. I'm like, this is some great stuff here. And even Sylvie and Ravonna at the end, another great dynamic that I didn't see coming, but there's a lot of history there. So yeah, there's great stuff there. But episode 3 is called 1893, and it was pretty much a Renslayer focused episode. She's the heart of the episode here. But of course, it's a reference to the Chicago World Fair. But Ravonna arrived in 1868. Prior to that, I think this is right after her appearance in season 1, when she, ditches everybody because she still has a prune stick in her right hand, whatever. And she basically, in what I love about Loki season 2 so far, if you read the bottom, it's giving you, what timeline they're in and everything. That like Brad's thing was like the sacred timeline, so he was on his actual timeline. And this one, we're on the sacred timeline in 1868, where we meet a young He Who Remains, a young king. And Ravonna basically gives him the TVA handbook guide written by Ouroboros, which was inspired by Kang. Craziness.
Snake tail,
eating it up. Love it. The cyclical nature. Everything's so cyclical in this season so far. Every episode has something cyclical to say about like these characters in TVA. It's very smart. So dropping this book basically made him gain knowledge at a quicker rate. We presume he was going to gain this knowledge anyways. He, of course, like he exists, right? So this just, of course, speeded up the process. As Miss Minute said, this was the contingency plan in case he was to die.
Which was a compelling bit of this being that he is this intelligent and a genius with this technology, but he doesn't have the technology in this time that he lives in.
Exactly. It was so fascinating. Like he had, due to like Ravonna's interference, like he now has an abundance of knowledge, but he can't really work because he doesn't have the means.
It felt pretty Howard Stark in that way.
Oh, true. Because Howard is also working with the constraints of his time.
Yeah, literally in his home videos telling Tony like I'm constrained by the technology of my time, but I know you will figure this out.
Yeah,
you are my greatest creation, and I'm fucking crying. And it's only the 3rd installment in the MCU. Remember when it was just the 3rd? Now we're heading toward 50 with Thunderbolts.
Oh, I'm so tired, Nathan.
Your children and your children's children. It's the curse of Madame Zeroni.
Madame Zeroni.
You could be cursed to watch the MCU for always in eternity.
Is Feige the old lady? Is
Feige the old Feige's lady? The grandpa. That's too damn bad.
That's too damn bad. You're gonna get it.
Or that's Iger.
Oh boy. So yeah, making himself more powerful in the past makes him more powerful in the future, of course. Scrolling through my notes here. So yeah, this was He Who Remains contingency plan. In the original version, he created, he created this multiversal, devices, presumably through original means. And then, as he told us at the end of season 1, and that's when he met his other multiversal variants, and the multiversal war happened.
Well, that's also been interesting because traditionally, the original Kang, who's Nathaniel Richards, a descendant of Reed Richards, is from like the 23rd century.
Exactly. That's what made this so interesting, because I was expecting him to be from the future, but then presumably, if this is the sacred timeline,
is it?
that's what it said. They said the 1868 one was the sacred timeline.
Okay. Because then also we have a Kang who's like an ancient pharaoh, and
exactly.
there's so many different levels.
Multiversal, yeah. But this is the sacred one. And I took note of this because I didn't realize when Loki and Morpheus get there, it's 1893, but this is it is now a branched timeline because of Ravona's interference. She created the variant of Victor Timely because of her interference. So that's why when Morpheus is walking down there, he says like, "Oh, this dimension's like
Mobius.
Mobius."
I say Morpheus.
Different guy. By the way, I watched the trailer for Argyle in front of Just Believer, the upcoming Matthew Vaughn, I think, movie.
Yeah.
And I thought that was Owen Wilson the whole time, but it's Sam Rockwell.
How did you think that was Owen Wilson?
I don't know. I have no idea. I had Loki brain probably, but I saw the trailer. I was like, "Oh, it's Owen Wilson. Wow, that's a crazy beard." But then credits happened and it says like Sam Rockwell. I was like, "What the hell?"
That was Justin Hammer, Evan.
That was Hammer. So good. I like to think he walked on set and just did that.
One day we'll do the MCU commentary.
No, we won't.
We will.
I gave you
phase by phase, baby.
I gave us an option.
Evan, how will we get to Shang-Chi?
We'll just turn on
Shang-Chi?
Yes.
Bullshit.
It's standalone enough.
But Wong's there.
Wong's in every movie. Nobody cares.
Wong has exceeded Doctor Strange appearances by 1. Did you know that?
No way. Are you serious?
Yeah, let's do a head count.
That's nuts.
Doctor Strange has been in his movie. He was in Ragnarok. He is in Infinity War and Endgame and Spider-Man. He was in his own movie. He's in What If. 7. Wong has been in Doctor Strange, Infinity War, Endgame. And then he popped up in Shang-Chi. He was also in Spider-Man. He was in Doctor Strange 2. And he's in What If. And he's in She-Hulk. So yeah, you beat him by 1.
He is in She-Hulk. That's crazy. That's great how you memorized that off the bat. I would not have got that. Yeah. And
now Chat can make fun of me more.
Now he's also in our podcast. That's 9 appearances.
He's in our games.
Oh.
Wink, wink. Anyways,
yeah. So let's see here. So yeah, I put my notes here that the cyclical nature of Kang helping himself is a big theme of Loki season 2, as we talked about already. And we see in episode 4 with Loki helping another version of Loki by basically pruning himself. But there's different versions of people helping out their older selves. Like it's all time is a flat circle kind of thing here. And the cycle of hatred, because episode 3 really gets into that in terms of like the cycle of hatred and like if you kill Timely, like this isn't going to solve anything, right? Like your anger, and the same thing happened with Ravonna, her anger about being betrayed by Timely or whatever. Like in episode 4 is like people wanting vengeance for getting betrayed or whatever. It doesn't really solve anything. That's what Loki's whole thing is. Like we can change this cycle of hatred and revenge and all that kind of stuff by reforming the TVA, who internally is also dealing with their anger and their resentment, as we saw in episode 4 with Dox.
Loki is the living embodiment of that idea.
Exactly. Loki's the living embodiment of that. And I liked how he gets called out on that one of those episodes, episode 3 or 4. 4, yeah. When Sylvie's talking to him about like how Loki's talking about how he originally viewed Thor. So anyways, I just love how this whole season, totally unexpected, but just all about reforming the TVA and internally reforming Sylvie's heart because Sylvia's arc is all about like, you know, breaking good, basically, not Breaking Bad, but breaking good, because
Breaking
she's
Brad.
Breaking Brad, because she's struggling to do what she wants, but also succumbing to what she knows is right, as we'll get into episode 3 at the end here. But anyways, it's really good stuff here. Loki and Mobius make their way to 1993. Like I said, it's a branch timeline due to Ravona's Nexus event, in a sense. There's a Baldur the Brave reference.
Yeah.
I took note of this because Baldur is a fantastic villain in God of War 2018. Just fantastic character there. Were you gonna say something about Baldur?
No, because I'm actually unfamiliar.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he's just one of the other brothers of Loki.
Oh.
In mythology, I guess I don't know if this is actual mythology or just God of War mythology, but Baldur was like couldn't feel pain, incapable of feeling pain, which of course not great because then that affects you emotionally too. If you can't feel physical pain, how are you supposed to feel like pain towards others?
Yeah.
Play God of War 2018, everybody. It's a fantastic game. Baldur is amazing. Anyways, they made their way to the Victor Timely show. I think it's called like the Marvels of the World, something like that. And he's showcasing the prototype to the temporal loom, which I'm skipping over a lot of the what's happening in the TVA because it's not really relevant. But in the TVA, their main issue in episode 3 and 4 is trying to contain all the branches. Everything's going to shit within TVA because the branches are too big. They need to make it larger. They need to fix it, but he can't fix it because Ouroboros can't fix it because he needs a temporal aura. Hence why we're here in 1893 to look for Victor Timely because he has the temporal aura of King. But yeah, we're at the show. This is the post-credit scene of
Quantumania.
Yeah. And Loki's like fearful, but also like recognize like, hey, this is he who remains, but not him, but a variant of him.
He's him.
He's him. And it was so fascinating because he was creating this prototype of the loom, basically doing this whole diatribe about what the multiversal implications are. And he makes fun of Edison, and he puts the battery inside of the loom. But what I love about this character, and I'm kind of jumping ahead here, is that like he's a very smart character, but he's also a trickster in a sense. A lot of his things do not work.
And he fine printed like, oh, it's a prototype. You know, I'm come by next week to help you fix it up. Yeah, cool. All right.
Yeah, he's basically a confident trickster. Yeah, exactly. Exit screen. Exit stage left. Because he's smart, of course. He's capable, of course, but he's also a very selfish character, and that's very much seen throughout his interactions with the barons, who are all like, "Hey, you promised us this, but it's not very capable. It's not very much working." So he's swindling them, while at the same time, only basically caring about himself and the money. It's kind of like the underlying sentiment of it all. And it becomes true even more when we get his relationship with Ravonna. Like, this is a guy who only cares about positioning himself as number one and not partnerships, which is very fascinating. Overall, I thought his erratic performance here as Victor Timely is pretty solid, pretty unique overall. I like it. Pretty cool.
Yeah, I like it. I especially, I get more endeared with this character as we go into 3 and 4.
Yeah, hopefully nothing bad happens to him.
It's so funny because I was theorizing that like with the buildup of that really sweet tender moment on the boat between him and Ravonna, I was like, oh, this could be a beautiful start to a relationship that will be tragically pulled away from him and turn him into the ultimate Avengers threat to Kang that we'll have to face. And then in the next scene, she just gets dropped on the boat, and I was like, all right, well, fucking,
yeah.
But maybe still. And then I see the conclusion of episode 4, and I'm like, holy shit! Like I was gobsmacked.
Wild. Yeah, I did not.
You ever heard me say that word?
Gobsmacked, and not at all.
Bro is flabbergasted.
Sorry, just texting back my dad. But yeah. my Jedi's mouth just dropped watching that scene with Victor at the end of episode 4. I'm just like, it was wild. And this is after like what happened with Ravonna. People are just dropping like flies. I was like, okay, something's happening here. Like too many people are dropping. Man, that was crazy. But yeah, so in episode 3 though, with Victor's character, I was becoming endeared by his character by the end of episode 3, even with what he has with Sylvie and then the boat stuff. Like, not really endeared, but just interested because of how selfish he is and how he relates to He Remains, how he relates to Loki and Sylvie. It was all very interesting.
Yeah.
So yeah, again, after this whole performance thing, and he kind of like runs away from the Barons because he's been lying to them, basically.
The jig is up.
The jig is up, basically, and Sylvie comes, and this is when they get to the carousel scene, which I just adored, because it's great. Sylvie comes to town basically wanting to kill Victor, and Loki, and this is when Loki comes in and tries to like reason with her, and she admits like, hey, this is pretty much, and speaking of like cyclical stuff here, this is pretty much a reversal. Well, not a reversal, but just a round 2 of what we got with the season 1 finale, where he kept trying to say like, hey, do not kill He Who Remains. We need him alive. And she is just running on anger. And yeah, we see this again where she's how to kill Victor, and he's like, don't do it.
The blocking of the scene and the framing of it made me think they were gonna do a reversal, and I thought Loki was gonna push her through a time door like in the finale she did to him.
That'd have been hilarious.
How does it feel?
How does it feel? She's like, I'm still falling. No. But yeah, that was great. And this is where you get the true dichotomy between Loki and Sylvie and Ravonna and Kang, where Ravonna and Kang is pretty much the reverse version of this, where Ravonna is pretty much, as we'll see in episode 3 and 4, she's a very power-hungry character. She wants to be on top of the structure of whatever is being created, especially the TVA. She wants to be on top of the TVA again. This Victor is foregoing partnerships. He hears the word partnership and he skedaddles, which is very interesting. Meanwhile, Loki is begging Sylvie to like trust him, to be with him, basically like, hey, join us. We can be together again. These two just want to be together, but they had all this anger and TVA restructuring that they have to deal with. It's so fascinating. I'm so captivated by so much. Where Sylvie learns to trust Loki, where she's just like, okay, I'll trust you with like, dealing with all this. Victor refuses to trust Ravonna, and Ravonna by the end refuses to trust Victor. It's like they're a dynamic built on not being able to trust one another and just trying to get on top, while Loki and Sylvie are trying to like fix the TVA and trying to offer companionship, because he even offers like, hey, what about your world will disappear, your paradise, your home will disappear, and he keeps asking like, why are you doing this? And this is why, like, he cares about her peace and the peace of others. Now he's a selfless character, in a way, because there is a little bit of it that is not selfish, and we'll get to that in episode 4. But yeah, it's like Loki is trying to like offer like companionship with her, and I felt was so captivated by this whole carousel scene, because it's a tug and pull. That's what I like about Sylvie so much, is that she's not instantly jumping on board with Loki. And I mentioned this with episode 2. She's going back and forth between what she wants in her heart, which is pure fear and anger, and then also trusting in Loki, which I think deep down she wants to deeply trust Loki.
Yeah.
It's great. And Timely, he's a con man. He's a con man. He betrays people. He pushes them off boats without zero hesitation.
I mean, I'll blame Miss Minutes on that one being a little manipulative.
True. True. At the same time,
Which also big old swing I didn't see in the character of Miss Minutes.
not at all. People have been saying like Miss Minutes the big bad, and she could be. She's shaping up to be a biggish bad. Probably as we get into season 3 for sure. Hopefully there's a season 3. I don't know if he's ever talked about it, but I would hope so. Because I feel like with 2 episodes left, there's way more to the story of Loki and Sylvie than just 2 more hours of TV time. Like, I need these people to go on a 5-season run. Because I love Loki and Sylvie and the whole Loki world. But yeah, I would say even without the context of Miss Minutes, and Miss Minutes was definitely a pusher there, because Miss Minutes, what's so fascinating is that Miss Minutes wants this branched variant Victor Timely to become the person that she fell in love with, which is He Who Remains. Yeah. But he's not. But he's slowly getting there. Because I think even before that, he's still a con man, as we saw with the Barons and stuff. He's still a con man. He's not the nicest guy. And even then, even before Miss Minutes, there was some scene either when he was talking to Loki or whatever, something about partnerships, and he kind of like immediately scooted away. And then the second time we hear partnerships is when he pushes Ravonna off the boat, just signifying that he doesn't like the idea of partnerships. He's doing all this by himself. I think it's when Ravonna asked him when they're at his house, like, you do all this by yourself? Like, this is a lonely place. He was like, yeah, this is where I thrive, basically. I'm paraphrasing, but like, he's a lonely guy. You look around his apartment, the setting wise, like, this is a hermit's cabin, right? He moves from one place to the next. His home was in Wisconsin, but he's in Chicago swindling people, but also showing off his creations. I think he moves around a lot, and he doesn't have any roots in one location, any roots in any kind of companionship. That's just my call. But yeah, it's very interesting comparing him to Loki, who is the opposite, pretty much a person who just tries to reinforce the idea of companionship and working together and fixing things for the betterment of people, not just himself. Unlike Victor.
For all time,
always. Great stuff. Marvel has some great one-liners in all their projects.
When Loki told Sylvie, "Don't be rash," I was,
don't be rash. She's like, "I'm not rash. Don't call me rash.
I don't have a rash." It's not what it's saying.
Yikes.
It is funny, like the amount of times I see Loki and Sylvie argue. I'm like, but Sylvie, you're gonna lose your life if you let him die.
Yeah, which is why Sylvie is a great character, because I think deep down she's like, yeah, he's making a lot of sense.
Yeah, I completely understand why Sylvie is the way she is.
Yeah, she's pissed, and
it's like, why would I trust? But it's only because we know that we're like, but we can help you.
Exactly, we can fix her. At this point, Loki is so connected to the TVA. It's so fascinating. Loki season 1 is all about him trying to unravel the TVA, and this one he's trying to reestablish the TVA. And she's like, "Why do you care so much about the TVA?" It's a great question. Like, why do you care so much about the TVA when they were going to prune you? But like, he doesn't have that relationship with them that she had. Yeah. He was able to form these connections. He's able to form friendships with Mobius and with B-15, things that she has just gone without. But through Loki, Sylvie is possibly having these, honorable thoughts. I don't know how else to describe it, but just like beneficial thoughts to help her out along her way.
Without the TVA, they never would have met.
That's true, right? Invite the TVA to the wedding, right?
Well,
yeah.
Invite the corporation to the wedding.
Hey, boss.
Yeah.
What?
They do catering. They got a lot of pie.
I was saying, bring over the pies to the wedding. That'd be great. That'd be amazing. Maybe that's what season 3 is about. Wedding.
It's green. It's on brand. It's on color.
I still think we got another pie scene, which was just perfection in episode 4. And I'm like, I'm still hoping that the whole Loki Mobius pie thing is true, or Loki's the one that took Mobius.
Oh, don't do that.
That
Don't
would be
Men in
cool.
Black 3 me
I
and then
mean, it
act
could
all high and
happen.
mighty above it.
Not a great movie, but you know, I can pull things
It's a
from
great
it.
movie. It's a fun movie. Will Smith is Will Smith in it.
Will Smith is Will Smith in a lot of not great movies. After Earth, anybody?
And you know
Gemini
what?
Man.
And you know what? It's he made it all the better.
He
Because
was
if
the
you
best.
put anybody else in there that isn't Will Smith, not as fun.
Put Denzel in that movie, see what happens.
Okay, well, you got me there.
He's
You put Denzel in anything.
like, listen, what you got to do, Jaden? You got to get out of there.
You put
Run.
Denzel in Quantum Mania, though, that's automatically gonna give it some points.
Uh, I can't see Denzel in a Marvel movie. God damn.
Uh,
Um,
put John David in one of them. John David Washington is the Silver Surfer.
He'd be pretty good.
That's pretty good.
Are you cooking?
He cooking some bullshit. Nah, I think it could work.
Yeah. So where were we?
The door.
Let's see. There's a giant clock diversion. Yeah, I already talked about the quiet scene between Ravonna and Victor. Oh yeah, missed minutes, as you can see when Ravona's at the house with Victor, and then Ravonna is on the boat. Missed minutes, like side eyeing them. We're getting
A
early
lot.
crumbs of jealous missed minutes, which was very fascinating. So yeah, and then of course he pushes her off the boat, basically, which was kind of surprising for me. I was like, okay, like you said, we're getting some romantic connections between Ravonna and Victor. This is what we expected based off of the character of Ravonna in season 1.
Yeah.
But this direction that they're taking between a more antagonistic partnership or relationship, not partnership,
Yeah.
was interesting because she's not happy after this. But I love the scene in general where she's just talking about like what they can possibly do together, and he's like, you lost me at together.
I gave you the book.
Yeah, exactly. And Miss Minutes is there with him, kind of egging him on. But the reason why I say like even Miss Minutes wasn't a big factor was that because even when he's with Miss Minutes at the end, he's kind of like doing his own thing, and Miss Minutes is kind of like pushing him towards a route
Yeah,
that he doesn't want to go.
it's the same thing that she's manipulating him against the partnership.
Yeah, but also he's kind of side eyeing Miss Minutes. Like he's also not with Miss Minutes either. He's kind of like, I'm not really with you. You kind of creep me out.
Very uncomfortable.
Exactly. So yeah, we make it to the lab in Wisconsin. There's tons of prototypes. Mini amplifier device that we see in episode 4, and we get this whole reveal with Miss Minutes. She's like, okay, let me just let loose about like what she really wants, and what she really wants is a body. This was interesting. What she says here is that like, excuse me, He Who Remains never gave her a body. She said the one she really loved, He Who Remains, always kept her basically at arm's length by not giving her a body, even though she was there from the very beginning, helping create the TVA, helping structure the TVA, doing all these things for Victor, but there was always a whiff of like uncompanionship. I don't know the word there was. I don't know the word is for it. But even He Who Remains, as we've seen episode 4, selfish character, right? He never made Miss Minutes a human because he doesn't want to be on equal footing with her. He always wants to be superior to her. Yeah. He wipes out everybody's memories because same thing, right? He wants to be above everybody else. And it's for their benefit, partially because having an organization with their memories intact wouldn't be that stable. But of course, as we saw in episode 1 or season 1, it was a pretty stable organization under the guise of a lie. But
albeit way more aggressive.
Exactly. But anyways, we'll get to that in episode 4. But yeah, basically, just he wants all the power, which you can kind of see a little bit again in the beginning with this Victor Timely character who's kind of selfish, but also has those heroic elements, as we see in episode 4. So yeah, we get the whole fight in the Wisconsin lab. Sylvie comes in again, and we get this amazing scene between Sylvie, and King, this Victor Timely character here, where she has him. She is ready to kill him. And unlike the season 1 finale, she does not. Why? Because of the connection that she's had with Loki. Loki has been such a positive impact on her. She's willing to trust Loki and realize that Victor Timely is needed to save the day, basically. And this is so fascinating because, again, that idea of trust is just not there between Ravonna and Timely. But what I also loved about this was that, like, Sylvia was taken and persecuted her whole life by the TVA when she was a child for something she didn't do yet, right? Like, they were taking away all these Lokis and pruning them based off of doing nothing, at least for her. She was still a child at the time. And one of my favorite lines from season 1, when she asked Ravonna, like, why'd you do it? And Ravonna doesn't say anything when they're in the elevator, right? It's like,
She said, I don't remember.
I don't remember, which is like, also, that line comes back even more full force here, where
she had
literally wiped.
She literally doesn't remember.
She literally doesn't remember.
But as but originally we watched it, we were like, "Oh, you fucking asshole!
You fucking asshole!
Oh, you piece of shit! Of course you pruned everyone. You wouldn't fucking know. You pruned too many." It's probably true, but even then, like now, it's like, "Oh fuck, no, wait, she's."
Yeah, like, oh, wait a minute.
Are we the baddies?
Yeah, she also got a memory wiped.
But she was too smug about it.
She was, yeah. She also had like a wry smile, like, I don't remember. Like, I'm all about the job. That's the job.
Oh no.
So it's the same thing where Timely, he hasn't done anything yet. And I think she sees herself as being one of those evil TVA people who killed her, who killed her world, and nearly killed her. So she doesn't drop the knife, but she, like, lets him escape. Yeah. And she follows Loki's will there. But it doesn't end there for Sylvie, because she gets another great scene between Ravonna and herself. Ravonna, who's obsessed with power, is now going against Sylvie, who used to be obsessed not with power, but with anger and vengeance, and is now not. And then she literally kicks Ravonna into a penance. Just like when Sylvie killed He Remains, she was left alone, and literally went to Oklahoma to be alone. She kicks out Ravonna into the end of time so she can be alone and bask in her solitude. Because again, I think the show is telling us, if you follow this idea of obsession, whether it's for power or whether it's for anger, you will be left alone. Just like He Remains had all the power, but was left alone. So now Ravonna gets to rot with the corpse of He Remains. Except the episode ends with Miss Minute saying, there is more secrets that need to be shown to you.
There is another Skywalker.
There is another sister. And that was pretty much end of my notes for episode 3. But yeah, so Loki and them managed to rescue Timely. Timely is now in the hands of TVA. Whew. Yeah.
Hot chocolate time.
But overall, I liked episode 3 a lot. Basically, again, showing us the reverse Loki and Sylvie with Ravonna and Timely. Timely was a very interesting character, and I liked seeing the whole carousel scene being a play on the season 1 finale. Was very interesting to me, and just seeing more of a fleshing out per se of Miss Minutes, who has no flesh, was very interesting to watch. So yeah. And then I think I liked episode 4 even more. I don't know. I think episode 3 was more character focused. We learned a lot more about, like, Ravonna, about Timely, about Sylvie, but episode 4 also gave us some great Loki and Sylvie content, and it was just a more tension-filled, like, race against the clock episode with a lot more things connecting from previous episodes, kind of like teeing as a mid-season finale, basically, which is weird. It has mid-season finale energy, but we have 2 episodes left, which, again, I'm like, I think Loki season 1 is perfectly paced. Hopefully, this season ends as well as it is so far, as well as it's going so far.
You think they're gonna cliffhanger you again?
Like Loki season 1 did.
Yeah.
I hope so. So it guarantees me season 3.
Yeah.
uh,
Hey, careful what you wish for, because sometimes you get cliffhangers and they don't fucking follow up.
yeah. I'll be pissed if they give me a cliffhanger. They're like, okay, no more Loki season 3 because we're revamping Marvel TV.
Didn't Young Justice do that too?
Thanks, Nathan, for
Look, we're all friends.
bringing that up. I'm still pissed. I'm like, if I'm the Young Justice creators and I know that HBO Max is fucked, I would have tried to conclude a little bit better. I think there were some great conclusion moments between certain characters, but also there was a cliffhanger, and it made me so excited for season 6 or 5, wherever we're at. Anyways,
It's amazing how much media is out there that like they found out they're being canceled, and they're like, all right, we're gonna make an episode finale that's so outrageously out there and inconclusive. They'll have to give us another season, and then they just
don't because Max wants to forego animation. They're still laying off animation stuff as we speak, which is weird. If I'm head of a company, I would reinforce the benevolence of animation, where you can bring in a lot more audiences with animation than other products. But maybe that's what I see. Maybe that's not what producers see. Anyways, fuck the industry, Bob. Support SAG, everybody. We didn't say this episode yet, but support SAG. Because you would not be watching this show without the wonderful actors involved.
true.
So episode 4 is called The Heart of the TVA. And I read this. I'm like, oh, Loki and Sylvie being the heart of the TVA. TVA trying to change, just like Loki and Sylvie are trying to change.
Your brain is broke. You're obsessed. I admire it.
You're right. But the show is reinforcing my obsession, because this episode was all about Loki and Sylvie running through the TVA, literally running in circles, and talking about change for themselves while everybody else is trying to change the TVA. Like, this episode was so interesting because different factions are all trying to change. I keep biting my lip. I don't know why. It's weird.
For 1 second.
But anyways, I need to get some water. But I think Heart of the TVA is also outside of my own silky brain. I think it also references Miss Minutes, who is also physically the heart of the TVA, because she had a big impact towards the end of the episode. You could also say Ouroboros was the heart of the TVA, given his impact with everything going on. Ouroboros
I would say that. I would say my boy is the heart of the TVA.
He's been coming through. I've been loving Ouroboros. Fascinating character. So yeah. What do I have for the notes so far? It's like rebooting the timeline, death and rebirth symbolism at the end of the episode, as I mentioned already. But yeah, we start off with the opening scene of Ravonna and Miss Minutes at the end of time.
And the time decaying corpse of He Who Remains.
Yeah, gross. It's been a minute. He's been decomposing there for a minute.
It's been a Miss Minutes.
Nice. Yeah, that deserves the. Yeah, there we go. There was a cough. There it is.
His bad taste in the mouth. Leaves the taste of ash. I love it. It made me think. I love the monologue that Barbossa goes off of in the first Pirates, talking about his curse.
That was great.
I never know the taste of warm meal or the warm flesh.
We gotta watch that trilogy.
Or all 5.
Or 3.
Or all 5 Transformers.
I don't know which one I would rather watch, Transformers or Pirates.
Or all 7 Transformers now, rather.
Jesus Christ, never mind. Yeah, let's do Pirates.
We got to go to the lowest lows, Evan, to reach the highest highs. A Bumblebee.
We could just watch Bumblebee and the one that came out this year.
Rise of the Beast.
Rise of the Beast. And if you don't know, now you know.
Yeah. And then we can watch all the G.I. Joe movies.
Exactly. Where they kill off Homeboy in the first 5 minutes.
Did you know? I probably already said. Did you know that GI Joe is in the same universe as the Mummy? Brendan Fraser's the Mummy.
What?
Yeah, because Brendan Fraser's also in the first GI Joe movie, and his character's last name is what was it, McConnell?
No way.
Or whatever his character's last name is. And he's like a descendant of
That's
his
bullshit.
character.
That's bullshit, bro.
Canon, baby. His grandpa's fighting mummies and shit.
Wow. That's great. He didn't have a cat. Bring the cats. Maybe the cats go to the secret. Oh boy.
Back on track.
Back on track. So we meet Renslayer, and she gets a origin of what happened with her memories, and this is
We get to
fascinating.
see the tape we heard in episode 1.
Yeah, like Ravona,
Quite a marvel.
quite a marvel. Thank you so much for
Quite a
leading the
Marvel
army.
Studios production.
Great delivery by King there in that scene.
Yeah. Also, I loved in episode 3 the old timey Marvel Studios fanfare.
Oh yeah. Dun, 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 dun.
And then in episode 4, they sped through they like abridged the Marvel logo, and I was like, oh, hello.
Yeah, I think in the context of the episode, it's just like it was fast.
There's no time.
Yeah, there's no time, and also like by the end of the episode, everything's like getting destroyed. So it was just like this was a tense episode. It was like everything was constantly moving, and we do get one breather in the pie room. After people go to talk, just talks the shit in the pie room.
But we figure shit out when we're eating pie.
Exactly.
Sylvie, don't make me feel bad. Don't make Mobius feel bad for eating
know,
pie.
right?
I felt so bad for him because he felt so disgruntled after that. Do you think he went to go eat some pie?
Probably.
He's like, I'm gonna eat it, but I won't feel good about it.
Yeah, I also liked it because we'll get to it, but yeah. Anyways, so yeah, Renslayer. So what we get here is that we had a multiversal war. Ravonna Renslayer was a general or helped lead part of the army in that war. They're nearing the finishing touches on the TVA, basically. When she goes back, or she's envisioning them working together, and you can hear Kang have like this mournful voice to him when he says, "I'll be right there. I'll be right behind you." Which whenever somebody says that, they're never going to be right behind you. So I was like, "Uh-oh."
I'll be in
it. If I come back, call 911.
Tell him bring in the sheets.
Bring in the sheets. Oh my god.
Let's do a commentary for Oppenheimer. Let's do it.
That'd be fun.
What?
No.
You of all people.
So
we would make it fun.
We would. We just hold up paper and be like, "Is this what you're talking about?
This your card?
This your card?" We just jammed to Lonely Shoe Salesman for 2.5 hours. That song goes so hard. It's sick.
But because of copyright, we have to stay in our headphones, so we just everybody hit play at the same time, and you just videos 2 hours.
But anyways,
losing our minds.
So yeah, Renslayer loses her memories here, and you basically calls Protocol 42, Order 66. And Protocol 42 basically wiping out of memories. He says, wipe out her memories, all of them.
All of them.
All of them.
Wipe them out.
So, Nathan, I haven't fact-checked this, but when in episode 1 of season 2, when Loki goes back in the time and past, and he sees the statue of Kang, is this prior to them getting their memories wiped? Like, the scene of Loki running around with the statues of Kang, is that happening prior to this scene of Kang saying wipe their memories to Ravonna? because none of them had any memories of Kang being like the ruler, but in the past they did. So of course, I'm assuming that whole time of Loki running around with the statues in the first couple minutes of season 2, episode 1, was all happening before Protocol 42, as we see here.
Yes, I believe it is. What was starting to throw me off is that in episode 1, the tape of that conversation is available.
You're right.
But I think that might have been Loki in the present before anybody got to a room like that, because I think Ravonna listened to that before going on her journey. Maybe. I don't. Well, no, because this was a whole reveal for her, so I don't know who the fuck this. I don't know where this tape came from. Fuck. My brain's broken.
Yeah, it's nothing, but that's what I kind of really thought of, because otherwise, like, they would have memories of that time when they had Kang stuff. Anyways, this is once again, just have to reiterate, this is Kang wanting to be, and even though he's sad about it, this is Kang wanting to be at the head of all things. He wants to be the one in control, the one in power, which we see a little bit of in Victor Timely. But because Victor Timely is a branch and not the person who becomes He Who Remains, he's able to have this heroic arc, as we see in episode 4. Just so that could all make sense for people watching our podcast. Anyways, because there is a difference between those two characters, even though internally, they are the same. What was I going to say here? But yeah, I forget. I think it was this episode when Sylvie was talking about like how when she killed Kang originally, he was prepared for it. He didn't have any like
he had no fear.
He had no fear. With this additional scene of like him wiping the memories, maybe he's like he had no fear because he felt like he deserved it because of what he did with those people.
I mean, he was tired of the immortality.
Yeah, that too. Meanwhile, this time it was like a fresh new person, and then kind of like shook her.
Yeah, I how many times he was like pleading, like, I haven't done any of those things that you're.
That was a great delivery. But I haven't done it.
I'm not that person.
Yeah. Yeah. Great scene.
I also find it interesting that Majors goes he goes all out in every version of Kang he's played.
Oh, full commitment. Yeah, for sure. Full commitment. I'm still curious what the hell they're going to do with the whole court case and stuff like that. I'm like, are they going to get a new Kang?
I don't know, because apparently one of his Disney projects has taken off a calendar.
Yeah, Magazine Dreams. So it was more of a Fox Searchlight thing, but under Disney now. So, man, I still think Homeboy from Godzilla movies and Straight Outta Compton.
And In the Heights?
Yeah. What's his name?
Yeah, he was in Kong Skull Island.
I think he'll be a good Kang. He'd be solid. He'd be okay.
I want Yahya Abdul Mateen II. He's been my pick.
Isn't he already Wonder Man?
Yes, but Wonder Man, I have now heard, is
canceled.
Basically.
Oh no! Please no.
So in my brain, I'm like, we're back.
Yeah.
Yeah, for a place game.
Yahya would be great. He's a physical beast of a specimen.
Yeah, he's huge.
He's huge. Yeah. Yahya would be good.
Watching him in the Aquaman trailer, he's all out.
He's so corny. I want to destroy all of it, all his friends.
I'm gonna burn down Aquaman's home and everybody.
Like, villain 101.
Okay, but when he flips up the fucking trident, it's
cool.
Shot.
The costuming in that movie looks sick. It looks really on point.
James Wan don't miss.
The first one missed.
What? No, didn't.
I'm not a huge fan.
Oh, what's that? A billion?
Oh, I thought you were going to point to a Blu-ray. Collie, do you have a Blu-ray of Aquaman?
No, I have a digital.
Of course you do.
Have I watched it since I bought it?
No.
Have I watched it at all since I purchased it? But
I haven't watched that shit
I
since
will.
theaters. I think we should. That'd be a fun movie to watch, this year.
Gear up, Evan. We're doing the whole DC.
No,
It's
or
not that much. It's what? As much as the Alien Predator combination. That's fine.
That's like what 13 movies.
We got variety.
Fuck.
We got variety.
I'm still recovering from 10 Saw movies.
It's great, Evan. We'll watch Man of Steel, and then we'll go into BVS, and then we'll go into Suicide Squad. What a wonderful order. Just like the good old days of 2016.
I'm tired, Nathan.
That's 2.5 bad. You keep watching. Excuse me.
Oh man,
I'm breaking my brain.
This whole podcast, just the last 3 years of the podcasting has been Nathan having a gun to my head.
Oh god, I don't know, Evan. At least just come watch some Japanese Godzilla with me, please.
Dude, I was talking to Jalen about this earlier today. Like, I cannot wait for fucking Godzilla this year.
-1.
It looks fucking excellent. One of the best trailers of the year.
Good news. Despite Beyonce taking screens, they're looking to do a advanced screening at AMC theaters and IMAX November 29th, hopefully.
Oh. Am I going to have time?
I hope so.
That Thanksgiving weekend is packed. Saltburn comes out, The Holdovers comes out, Wish comes out, Napoleon comes out. Hunger Games isn't that also coming out?
Well, it comes out
or a week before.
Couple weeks.
I remember looking, and that's a packed weekend for movies. But I'll make room for Godzilla +1.
-1.
+1.
-1.
+1.
Bitch. It thematically means they're going like God. Japan was bombed twice. This is effectively a third bomb. So they're starting from 0, and then when Godzilla comes, it's minus.
So it's a negative bomb.
It's -1.
They lost a bomb.
They've received 2. And Godzilla will be a third.
So why isn't it Godzilla +3?
Because the fucking goddamn you're making me do this math, and I'm gonna fucking do it. Because the bombs drop, and that leaves Japan decimated with nothing to 0.
There's a 0.
And then Godzilla comes as effectively the same energy as another nuclear bomb.
So another +1.
No, it's not a plus. The minus reflects Japan's deterioration.
Oh. Okay. I'm kidding. That makes sense.
You cannot kid with me on this, motherfucker. This is
you
my
can't
life.
Kid the kidder.
You can't. You can't.
Man. I get it. It makes sense. It's a great title.
God, I have potential knowledge that sounds so interesting if it's true.
Spoilers?
It's not in the marketing.
Still spoilers?
No.
What the fuck?
I don't know how it'll end.
Not spoilers. It's not in the marketing. It's a spoiler. The fuck?
Hey, if somebody says something in an interview, did I hear from an interview? No, but
Nathan, you gotta help yourself with these monsters verse.
Look, it just happens, and then it's also really fucking compelling if it's true.
I can't wait. Anyways, let's continue so we can end this Loki review. So what do we see here?
Is that what this is? The baddies.
God damn it.
-1. Anyway.
People like turn on the podcast. These guys are idiots.
Hey, Loki -1.
So yeah,
-1 victory time.
Big time. So TVA episode 1 part. Timely sees King. So Timely's back in our universe. He sees King statues, King stuff on the wall. He's like, that looks just like me. And then he meets B-15. What I like about B-15 this episode is that B-15 is kind of doing her own version of how to restructure the TVA, just like Loki and Sylvie are. B-15 is another faction trying to restructure the TVA. And what I liked about this was that when she's talking to the higher up, it gets to the very meta statements about the season as a whole. She's like, basically, how do we restructure the TVA? We have the people doxed in her crew who were trying to prune it, but how do we get them on our side when we also just wanted to save the TVA? And the other lady's just like, well, make it so that she's also doing things that are in her wishes, right? She wants to save the TVA. Tell her that by working with us, she is saving the TVA. You don't have to prune to save people. Just like Loki says, and later on, you don't have to kill to save people. It's easier to destroy things, but it's much more beneficial to do it the long way. And again, I'll get to that scene because it's so good. But anyways, B-15's she's telling this to B-15, one of the higher ups. I just thought that was a very good scene, and it gets to the sense that like all these characters are trying to change the TVA. The structure is there. The institution is flawed, but is capable of change. Something we've been saying since episode 1 of this season. So B-15 is working on the morality of it all there, while Ouroboros meets Kang. We get to a fun chicken and the egg scenario where they're like, can you sign my book? Can you sign my book? They're like, oh, you created this, but also I wouldn't have this if you didn't think of it, but I wouldn't think of it if you didn't give me this.
Surprise, Obi is the actual Kang in Secret Wars.
Oh my gosh. If Ke Kwan is turned out to be Kang, that'd be amazing.
Ke Kwan never played a villain. Sign me up.
He would be a good villain.
I wouldn't buy it because I want to be his friend.
Yeah, he just has a warm personality, just a warm presence in general.
He could -1 somewhere, and I'd be like, I understand. You had your reasons.
We understand. So the plan here, and the plan for the rest of the episode, is to make the loom bigger. Our loom is small. We need to enlarge it. Now that Timely's here, we have the amplifier device that can enlarge the loom, make it big enough to contain all these millions of branches that are just sprouting up everywhere.
It's funny. I was watching this and I was sitting here and I was like, the MCU has introduced this technology of growth. we have the pin particles to do this.
I see what you're saying.
I don't know. It probably wouldn't have worked for some reason.
Yeah, I think they're not trying to make it bigger, like physically bigger. They're trying to make it like structurally is able to contain stuff. I forget how they described it, but it's like, I don't know. But they're not making it like huge. They're just trying to make it like, I don't know. It's some kind of mechanism that allows it to open and then restructure itself.
A filtration system, if you will, or
something like that.
A meat grinder is what it looks like, but
yeah.
A coder.
So yeah, I wish I took more notes on this, but like they leave there. So it's like, okay, Timely and Mobius, Timely and Obi, you work on that, or we're gonna, wait. There's not much we can do here.
Pie time.
Mobius and Loki like pie time. They're like, okay, cool. Sylvie goes off on them. Like, what the fuck? Like, these branches are dying. You guys are just gonna eat pie like nothing is happening. Like, branches are dying. Millions of people are dying, and that's not. It doesn't mean anything to you guys. Mobius, you don't have a family that you care about. Don't you want to know what's going on with them? And Loki, interestingly enough, takes kind of a back seat to this. He's watching this, and I think because Loki, as somebody who's a friend of Mobius, probably is feeling the same way that Sylvie is. But because he's a friend of Mobius, he doesn't want to press him about this anymore. Because I think he already asked him about this early on. So he's just like, Mobius is his own person. I'm going to have him deal with it. But Sylvie is like, no nonsense. And she's basically telling him how it is up front. Like, hey, why don't you care about these things? Is it because you live in this world where you don't have to care? And it was just a very interesting scene there from Mobius, who is visibly, and Owen Wilson, great facial expressions there, just visibly feels affected, but also like doesn't want to show it.
Yeah,
it was very interesting. I put in my notes that Mobius is probably scared, but then there's nothing he can do. He can't just go to his timeline and just like witness his destruction. Because I'm like, Sylvie, what do you want him to do, right? Like, what is there to do at this point in time? There's nothing they can do,
Yeah.
productively at least. So B-15 attempts to rein in Doc. She goes talk to Doc about like, hey, we need you guys. And Doc's like, what makes you think we're going to work with you? And she's like, well, we want to save the TVA because this world is dying. And you did your whole thing because the TVA was in trouble, even though we disagreed with the pruning part. And I'm paraphrasing, of course. And they leave, and then Doc's kind of like ponders it. And I think it kind of would have worked if given enough time. Of course, that doesn't end up happening.
But oh my god, Evan. Fucking box.
The box. Yeah, that's later on. But yeah, we can talk about it now. Because later on, Renslayer invades the TVA, and they stop by here. And again, Renslayer's prerogative is wanting to be in charge of it all. She wants to be on top, right? The TVA is going downhill. The TVA is going to be destroyed because of all these branches are popping up everywhere. The loom's too much to carry. Loki and Sylvie, they want to make the loom so they can contain the branches. I believe Renslayer wants to solve the problem by continuing to destroy the branches.
Yeah, going back to how the TVA used to function. Because she's even like, she calls out like, I've been gone for 3 days and look what's happened.
Yeah. So while the crew, now that they know about like the idea of like what's going on in these branch timelines, they don't want to do that anymore. That's what this whole season's about. They want to change. Well, Ravonna is this how do I say in my notes here? Ravonna's like this agent of chaos, right? Where she wants to chaos and order in a sense, right? She wants to embody what used to be. She wants to go back to the structure that she's used to, a structure where she's on top. But she's also chaos, where she wants to stop this process of change that is currently happening. So she's chaotic in that sense as well. It's very interesting for Ravonna, at least in the narrative of it all. And yeah, Doc's and crew put a stand to it. And I say Doc's and crew is pretty much just Doc's, but she's like the voice of the people in this sense. And Ravonna promises, like, I'll give you a life on the timeline. And this kind of allows Brad to have an easy out to be like, I want my life back on the sacred timeline, so I'm going to work with them. Meanwhile, Docs and the rest of them are put in the box, and
the whole time is shrinking. You can see Miss Minutes is very
she's like
enthralled. She's very likes it. Fuck.
Horrific.
You
my mouth was like,
and obviously you don't see anything, but I was watching this with headphones, and
you can hear the screams.
Not just that, you hear after it all, you hear like the dripping sounds of like
ew.
Twice, like when they cut back to it again, it's like it's still like when B-15 discovers it, you still hear like the dripping noises of the gore
because they're over a drain. So you assume like how many times do they just squeeze people and just like let them get juiced, and then like the blood drips into that drain, and then that's it.
And that was a large group of people too, so that's terrifying, messy.
See, that was horrific. But while this is happening, I've been building it up here, but we get a fantastic scene between Loki and Sylvie in the pie room. Where, funny enough, Sylvie's running around. She's like, I ended up in this fucking pie room. I don't know how that happened.
I really thought Loki was gonna like walk over and be like, set a pie on the table and just be like, come on.
You're gonna love some key lime pie. Which I just can't stand key lime pie, by the way. Disgusting.
Haven't had it, probably would not like it.
Apple pie is the best pie.
I'm not a lime guy unless there's lemon and carbonation.
Oh, nice. But yeah, about basically Thor 1, how he mocked Thor for being a soft person. And what spurs on this conversation is all about like how, like, why are you doing what you're doing, Loki? Like, what makes you be so like adamant for the TVA, and like basically what is this whole process going on? Like, what is this whole thinking process? And what I found so interesting is that it's just like, first off, by the way, he also said like, I tried to help you and you walked away from me, which is also full of just a pure angsty line, which I just love. Like I walked away, or you walked away, like in episode 2, you walked away from me. So of course he was hurting bad by the end of episode 2 there during the McDonald's scene.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just full of angst, and he talks about how Thor turned soft. Like what happened down on Earth. I think
Or
I have the
how
quote here.
he called out Thor for being soft, like he mocked him for being soft.
He says like, "What happened to you on Earth that turned you so soft? Don't tell me it was that woman." Of course, referring to Natalie Portman.
Yeah, and I think Sylvie like doubled down on Loki interrupting him, saying like soft gets killed.
Soft gets you killed.
But also, how interesting is it that Loki's coming to a perspective that he was wrong for calling Thor out about it, and what changed Thor? It was Jane. And where's Loki in this position?
Come on,
Sylvie.
Nathan! Come on!
Hey!
Come on!
Come on! It's right there!
It's right there! Like this show is so Sylvie Loki coded. I'm like, this is incredible. Like the line literally, like, was it that woman? It's like, yes, Thor was changed forever because of Portman's character, which is emphasized in Love and Thunder. Even though it's not a great movie, it's it's there if you look, people.
It's a through line.
It's a through line.
Come on.
Come on.
I can reach out and touch it. I swear to God.
Yeah, all they think about is kids and powers and dancing. Anyways,
which are all fun.
It's fine. Yeah. Anyways, I was smiling so much because Loki is just realizing that the softness is a strength. He's becoming to get to that point that we saw in our other Loki, where he's just starting to be proud of his brother and proud of what Thor had become. And now this Loki, the same thing. I think he's starting to finally understand what made Thor tick, and because he's kind of there in his own hero's arc where he's starting to understand compassion, understand the love that he has for Sylvie is a strength and not a burden to him. Just like Sylvie, like you said, Sylvie says that softness gets you killed. But I think for Loki, he's like, no, that softness makes me stronger. We're stronger together. Remember when we held hands, Sylvie?
You kissed me.
You kissed me. It's like, come on. If we don't get another kissing scene between these two by the end of the season, why are we even here?
Don't speak it. Now it won't happen.
I'm sorry, writers that already wrote the season.
It's Schrodinger's kiss.
So yeah, he has his newfound strength to protect others, just like Thor did, because of his relationship with Sylvie.
If Loki and Sylvie kiss at the end of time and no one's there to witness it, did it happen?
Stop it.
Yes, it happened.
That's all that happened.
That's all it happened. Don't tell me it didn't happen.
Exactly.
I'm not gonna kill him. I'm gonna make him watch.
So this scene just made Loki's hero's journey, his hero's arc, become so much more palpable and like visible via this whole conversation. I love whenever he references Thor. This happened in the original pie scene with Mobius, where he was talking about how I was so angry at my father for banishing me or all that kind of stuff, and I was angry at my brother, and I realized that my anger was stemmed from jealousy, and my anger was stemmed from something childish. Basically just reflecting on his actions. Like this amount of reflection is so, you don't really see that a lot in these Marvel characters, Marvel TV shows. And it's so worthwhile to see it in Loki.
The only real downside is that we don't this Loki doesn't have he watched it, but he didn't live through the full experience of our Loki developing these traits and feelings and bonds with Thor throughout time, where he would die for him ultimately.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because if we had the same scene written for our Loki, he would probably break down even more of just like how time and time again he turned on Thor, but Thor didn't give up on him. And then when he did, bring up the thought of giving up on Loki, Loki clearly visibly was like, "Oh no, don't do that." He always cared.
Exactly.
God damn it, these movies are good, motherfucker! I swear to God.
They're good. They're good.
They're
Loki just
rich.
Loki turned into such a, like you said, just a rich character. Loki is such a, it's remarkable how great of a character arc he's having this season, compounded upon what he went through in season one. Like Loki is such a well written character. This Loki and the last one. Um, but Nathan, it doesn't end there
Oh,
because the conversation dips very interestingly enough, and I really peeked up. I was like, oh, okay, we're going somewhere here. So Loki has this conversation about like softness and whatever, and so Sylvie basically continues it by going over like, so what's the plan here? What's your plan with the TVA? Is it just to give everybody like free will? And the conversation goes over to free will, and he says like, let's see here. So Loki's free will discussion. Basically like, what are you gonna do with Timely? You're just gonna leave him alone? He's like, yeah, we'll just leave him alone and we'll monitor him to make sure he does what he's supposed to be doing. And Sylvie retorts like, are you going to be doing that to everybody else in the TVA? Like, instead of pruning people, you're just going to be watching over people. And he's like, yeah, like it's important to grant people free will. And I'm like, yes, you're right, of course. And he says like, you can't just raise things to the ground. You have to like, start fresh and just like change things slowly. I'm like, okay, yep, you're doing good there.
gotta
Um,
protect them.
but then he's like, yeah, we got to protect them and we got to monitor them and watch over them. And I'm like, wait a minute here.
And Sylvie says,
And then yeah, Sylvie says like, you're starting to sound like a god.
"Well, it still sounds like we're playing God."
Yeah, it sounds like we're playing a god here. And Loki's like, well, we are gods.
Come on,
I was like, you had me in the first half.
peak, fucking hammer drop shit, dude.
This was really interesting because if people are just paying attention, people would disagree with Loki, right? They're like, okay, free will, cool, but this was a dramatic shift, and I'm just like, oh, hey, yo, like he still he wants to give people free will, but also like he still wants to play God, which is not good.
It is also an interesting how the pieces have fallen because you go to the finale of season one, he remains given an ultimatum, be like, yes, kill me, and all my variants run around, or you two run it. And now it seems we are forced into both.
You're right, and this is something I literally put in my notes. Funny that you brought this up. Where I think not timely, but He Who Remains' plan of having them run things together is what's eventually going to happen. I think Sylvie and Loki will be running the TVA, but a restructured TVA, like this whole season's about. Just He Remains realized one person can't just rule it all. It needs to be a cooperative effort, which is why Loki and Sylvie are going about their internal arcs because they're eventually going to be, in my idea, running the TVA, but a more benevolent TVA. However, this notion that Loki still wants to play God with people's free will and then just still monitor them because he can't trust them and their free will, he can't trust the decision that they're going to make. It's still not going down the right path here, Loki. And I don't think Loki realizes that at all. So this might be a sneaky tease for a season 3 arc for him about free will. Because this whole season 2 arc is about like restructuring and change and rebirth, which is all good. But this idea of like what happens after the TVA is good, this is what this conversation is about. Like what happens after that? What happens to the people that you aren't going to prune? Are you just going to let them do their thing even though their branch timeline could create chaos? If you're not going to prune them, what are you going to do then, Loki? And I think that's what he gets. This is a little tease here where he's like, well, we'll play God. We'll monitor them and change things if necessary. He didn't say that part, but I'm just saying that part. But like, it's a very disturbing notion about like playing God still in a world where he's on a hero's journey, and the journey should be like not playing God, about like, doing something better. Because He Who Remains played God with people's lives. He killed branches on willy-nilly. He was in charge of everything. He lied and manipulated branches and people's lives for millennia. This is something we can't go down on. So that was just a very interesting, lingering line about playing God. I loved it because it was small, but it was very noticeable at the same time. So yeah, I was like you. I was like Jalen and I were just like, wait a second, did he say that last part about playing God? Like, that wasn't good, right? So that was interesting.
I don't know if it's as extreme as that. I don't think that's not his intent. I don't think he means to like micromanage. I think it's more so just overlooking, not like Minority Report style, just like, oh, this person's gonna fuck shit up, stop them. It's like if it ever gets to a point where somebody's about to do something that's gonna lead to a multiverse ending threat, then it's like, okay, we need to intervene, otherwise everything's gone.
Possibly.
That's why we have the Avengers during the micro stuff.
Yeah, doing that kind of stuff. But also the idea that he's like wants to, just the idea in general that he wants to like combat people's free will. It just stuck out to me as something that's not good. Because for me, and again, I wish I could watch the line, but I don't know if the score dropped or anything. It just had that lingering effect of like that we're supposed to realize that it's not good. Because are we supposed to be supporting him playing God, or admitting that he wants to play that they are gods? Like, yeah, they're gods in mythological sense. Like, yeah, that's who they are. But at the same time, I'm like, I don't think that was as heroic a line as what he was already saying.
I think it's just a matter of running things more caring and less.
But that's the thing, though. It didn't seem as caring.
I think.
Did you read that line and be like, good?
I read it as cool from a dialogue standpoint.
Yeah, it was very cool line.
I was like, fuck.
That was really cool.
But no, I mean, I don't read it negatively because I trust Loki in the journey that we've been on for 1.5 seasons.
True, right? Like I want to trust Loki, but I trusted Loki 90% of the way there.
Well, nothing has told me that like Loki would fall into a negative.
No, but people do things for good reasons all the time. And I think that could be a struggle that he's gaining. Like I think he's going through this heroic arc, and I think that's very clear, especially with this episode.
In fairness, I think it's also a thing where like,
let me pull up the quote now.
Loki's whole standpoint is working collectively, with Mobius and B-15, and it's really it's Sylvie bringing the idea of them to, because she doesn't want anything to do with the TVA itself.
True, she trusts him, not the TVA.
Yeah.
Yeah, it stuck out with me. We'll keep it here.
Put a pin in it.
I'm looking for it.
Are you also gonna pull his torturing of Brad as a little extra note into that journey?
He tortured Brad?
In the second episode, when he was pushing him in the cube.
Yeah, I mean, see, that's just another thing, right? It's another. No,
that's just Tuesday.
That's just what? What'd you say?
That's just Tuesday for Loki. It's fine.
It's Tuesday. Why am I at season 1? Crap.
What'd you click? Season 1, episode 4.
Yep. Anyways, that's the other thing. Him nearly torturing Brad while funny could just be another clue about his what he could be going down with. I'll look for the line. Let's finish up the episode here. We already talked about them getting pruned. That happened right after this scene. So horrific scene. And then we meet B-15's like, oh shit. And when she realizes that, it's too late because Miss Minutes has entered the system, and that's when TVA starts going crazy. And the last 20 minutes of the episode here is intense as hell. Because Miss Minutes is in control. Timely goes to get some hot coffee, hot cocoa. He loves him some hot cocoa. But then Brad prunes
Our boy.
the other guy, random dude.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm looking for the line. I'll wait for the end of the episode because I'm going to distract myself. But so Brad prunes that random dude, and then Timely gets taken in by Ravonna, who wants him to like, hey, stop stalling, like tell us how to stop your amplifier thing. Meanwhile, Brad gets or no. They call gosh, there's so much that happens. So while Miss Minutes is in control, Loki goes out of the room, and we realize this isn't our Loki. It was kind of cool editing choice. Like our Loki in present day with the jacket starts running, and then the next scene we see him is him without the jacket, and he's running. I'm like, oh, this isn't our Loki. It's a big energy.
As soon as we cut to the scene where like he's holding the dial,
yeah.
I was like, "Oh, we're here!
We're here!" It was really cool. A big tenant, like it hasn't happened yet. Energy, and it was really cool. We finally see the full scope of the scene from episode 1, where Sylvie gets stuck in the elevator. Do you think Sylvie getting stuck in the elevator that was Miss Minutes doing, right? Trying to separate them, or that just random, or?
Yeah, that was her shutting it down. But luckily, Sylvie was tech savvy and she could manipulate to move.
Yeah, which was really cool. But yeah, Loki, of course, prunes himself. Brutal but cool scene. And she was like, "Oh, there you are."
It was also interesting that, like, I also remember in the first episode, that phone was ringing the whole time, and then we got the pickup here, which is it's just Obi. And
I was like, "Who's on the phone? Who's on the phone?" It's Obi. He's like, "Hey, what's up?" And they're like, "Hey, what?
Hey, what's up? You good?"
Yeah, like, no, we're not. Miss Minutes is in control. She's like, well, that's not good. I could reboot the system, but that is in control of people's magic and powers, and that's not like reboot the system. Do it, please. What
are you doing?
So yeah, that helps them get their magic back. That's then allows Sylvie to control Brad. So a great sequence of Brad coming back into the room, being like, "Hey guys," fully mind controlled, and he prunes Ravonna to get her out of the equation here. That was surprising. Now she has to get out of that hellhole purgatory area. But I think Miss Minutes is there, so Miss Minutes can probably save her there. What happened after that? Let's see here.
We're soon up, right?
Yeah. Ravonna gets pruned. I don't know what happens to Brad. He gets arrested or whatever. But then
Brad was mind controlled real quick to prune her.
Brad is mind controlled, but then after he's mind controlled, what happens to him? I think he just gets taken away.
I think they just leave him because we had bigger fish to fry.
They leave him? Okay. So then they're suiting up. They're like, okay, we have the amplifier now. We rebooted the system. Timely puts his head in the thing so we can like restart the system.
Get the aura.
Get the aura back in. And then they're like, okay. They open up the windows, like, oh shit, it's hot out there. Whoever goes out there, it's way worse. Whoever goes out there is going to get hit with a lot more, energy, radiation. And Loki wants to do it, but then Timely says, "No, I'll do it." I'm like, okay, cool. We got a hero arc going for Timely. He's been reinforced by the benevolence of Mobius and Loki and OB. I'm like, okay, great. Let's see what happens here. I'm like, is this gonna cause him to become He Who Remains? Is he going to become like teleported to the He Who Remains area? Is that how this happens?
I don't know. Well, I think the whole pitch has been from OB is like you'll be lost all of time.
Exactly.
And it's so funny because like the doors were opening and they were saying he needs to go fast, and like there's enough of a gap where like he could start. And I'm like, run, but it didn't matter.
It was gnarly. I'm like, okay, I had all these ideas, like I just said, but then he goes outside and instant spaghetti. And just that image of him getting peeled apart, wow, that was disturbing. And then their reactions were just like, they're speechless.
I didn't even know what to think. I was like, do we keep trying?
We just lost. Loki, you're up next. I'm like, hey, what? Oh,
What
oh.
are you showing me?
And I think that's it, right? Because then it's too late. It starts
It starts to
erupting.
implode. It like shock waves toward them.
Yeah, this is big Fantastic Four energy.
That's what I said in
Like,
episode 1.
ah. uh, and yeah, that's where an episode ends, where everything is destroyed. And this is interesting because in the same episode, Sylvie talks about like having to destroy everything to become anew. And Loki's like, it's easy to just destroy everything, but it's harder to rebuild after that. But what's going to happen now?
Well, if we don't have a loop of time to restart and reset to anew, this would effectively mean there could be a definitive end of time. To
How
actually,
so?
well, just in terms of like instead of it like looping around, it's just going to be start and end. I know it seems infinite, but clearly at some point with the filtration, it won't be. So, just with the running line, it's not going to be infinite anymore. It's just going to be a start and an end point, which
Interesting.
we can't have time end.
Time. Yeah, I mean that sounds interesting. That sounds plausible. Because I also used to this idea of especially in this episode, like everything being a cycle.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like that idea still has to linger somehow. But you're right. Like now that everything's destroyed and they start anew, I don't know what's going to happen next with them. Oh, sorry, we got a runner.
But also the fact
Yeah, I
that
don't
like
know.
all of these strings of timelines just running wild, and I don't know if they'd be like randomly intersecting or if it's just like a Big Bang scenario where it's just expanding, ever expanding,
Yeah.
but that would leave time out of order.
Yeah, so we can get idea of like things being out of order. Loki and them. I don't know. Are they all dead, or are they all going to pop up in a different realm of existence? You think?
That's what I feel like might be the case. I feel like they're gonna like wake up in different realities.
Waking myself downtown. So yeah, I have no idea. I usually have tons of theories, but we're basically at a blank canvas. We've hit the reset button, which is funny because again, that's what the TVA is supposed to be doing this season: resetting, restructuring.
Yeah.
Is this going to help that, or just going to put a pause on everything? I'm not sure. Is everything we've been doing up to this point meaningless? I would hope not. But I don't know where we're going from here. So I guess we'll have to wait and see. And if timely destroyed, missed minutes out of the picture with the reboot, Ravonna pruned, like what antagonist are we going to be facing in these last 2 episodes? Just the TVA itself? Like
Kang.
what? Okay.
Kang.
But
Council of Kangs.
are we getting a council of Kangs in the 5 and 6?
Maybe.
Are we going to see Timely again? Are we going to see He Who Remains again? The one from Ant-Man again? I don't know. I guess we'll have to wait and see.
Okay, now I'm starting to like restructure my brain because in the Quantum Mania end credit scene, Council of Kangs was like, he died, and we presume it's the Quantum Mania one. But I mean, fuck it, if they talk about Victor Timely, maybe instead. I don't know. Because we had said like we liked his performance in Quantum Mania. It would have been cool to like carry that Kang along. But if he's gone, what do I do?
Yeah.
I need an insanely powerful and crazed Kang just going all out.
Yeah. Well, you said the one in going all out in terms of the one from Ant-Man?
Ideally, of that style.
Mm.
Someone like kind of like drunk off their own power type.
Oh yeah. I see what you're saying. That'd be cool. Because
That is strong enough to make you believe it.
Exactly right. Yeah. And of course, we've been teased with getting more versions of Kang, and I don't think just Timely is the only person we'll be seeing this season. So
No,
I bet we'll see some variants next week or in Thursday.
I'm pretty sure it's the running thing as well. It's just Kang Dynasty is going to be a number of Kangs.
Yeah. But this season, I don't know where we go.
Where do we go now?
Where do we go? But yeah, let's
Do we get full?
hopefully
That would have leaked. That would have leaked by now.
Easily. So yeah, I'll zip the line again. And it's like Loki. So Sylvie just says again, like we got to be better, or Loki says we got to be better than He Who Remains. Sylvie says, "Sound like whatever we do, and we're playing God." If somebody admits to playing God, Nathan, that's not good. It's not good.
It's necessary.
No, it's not.
It's not good. It's necessary.
Or
Be the baddies.
Are we the baddies? I think that's what Loki's trying to discover. Are we the baddies? I don't know.
No, not anymore. Loki's a good guy.
Sure, but good guys can go down bad paths for a short second. I don't know.
Is he a nice guy?
I'm not saying he's going to go like full on villain route, but he could have some villainous material in there. I don't know.
Well, what else do we do, Evan? How do we protect the sacred timeline? Or not the sacred time? How do we protect all the timelines?
There's no need for protection. Remember, Kang wanted to only protect the timeline from himself, right? Like, and that included taking away Sylvie's timeline, taking away other people's timeline for no reason. But it's not necessary to like structure all of those because, they don't have to worry about all those Kangs anymore. I don't know. I'm just spitballing here, but it's like it's not necessary to play God because we're not trying to. Kang's trying to protect himself from the other versions. They're not. They don't care about other versions of Kang or whatever. So it's just like,
aren't they? Don't they care? Isn't that the leading goal?
Yes and no. I don't know, but because like there's not an infinite amount of Kangs, right? For all the time, they're not going to be purging Kangs wherever they go, right?
Well, the idea is to keep an eye on Kangs, and if any of them are iffy, then it's like, I don't know, at least like capture them. I don't know.
No, it's I don't
like I get it.
I get it, but I also don't. We'll see where this line goes.
Are we overthinking this?
I don't think so.
Because I was just like, that's a cool line.
It's an ominous line. It's ominous.
It's badass. Am I wrong?
No. But yes.
But like I get it. Like, are we the baddies? Maybe. But
if somebody's like, hey Nathan, you want to play God? You're walking the other
direction.
Yes,
I'll do a better job.
This is getting deep. Meanwhile, on the mic,
and I curse the mountain he sits on. Like, I get too deep in it.
Nathan, I think you watched. I think you watched Prince of Egypt again. Yeah.
What was this line? Was there a line?
The whole movie's a line about God.
I started thinking of a different line. I started thinking of the villain of Monsters Inc.
What? What are you talking about?
Just in terms of like his shouting line. That's not what I meant though. I wasn't going for that one. I'm trying to think of what Ramsey said.
Brother, where art thou?
No. It's a good movie.
Coen
Brothers.
Yeah. Okay. So is that it, Nathan? 2 hours, 8 minutes.
We have to talk about Gen V before it's over.
Yeah, we really do.
Another runner?
Cincinnati is fucked.
Holy shit.
It's Halloween weekend. People are going crazy. Halloween weekend. Gen V is one of the top 10 shows of the year, people.
Top 5.
Top 5.
Top 3.
Wow.
Top 2. Top 1. You can't even look at me. Don't be mad.
Succession came out this year.
Did it? What year is it? Is this still the year of Book of Boba Fett? What year is it? Did Obi-Wan come out this year? When was Andor?
Book of
Mando
Boba
season 3 was this year.
unfortunately.
Hey, now. Dying on camera. Not clickbait.
I'm laughing too much this stream.
Oh, I'll be rash. I love Gen V a lot.
For me, it's a near perfect show.
Is it better than The Boys?
Yes.
Cast
Well,
wise, I think it might be.
cast wise, I'm more invested.
More invested, yeah.
Because I mean, they're more relatable, but relatable doesn't mean I like it more most of the time. There's some relatable characters that I can't stand in fiction. But anyways, I don't know. I think for season 1, it's so hard. Boys is 3 seasons deep, and
Yeah.
I really like it. But Gen V has the potential. Let's say that Gen V has the potential to be better than The Boys. I'm enjoying it more than The Boys season 1. But I thought The Boys season 1 was like a 9 out of 10. I think this is a 10 out of 10.
I'm gonna pose a question to you just based off of where we've gone plot wise.
Okay. So spoilers up until the recent episode of The Boys. So if you haven't seen The Boys, episode 7
or Gen V.
Gen V, sorry, episode 7, beware. Jesus.
The big overarching plot, it seems, is that we are creating a virus that will kill soups.
Yes, which was now taken by Victoria Newman.
Yes,
who I thought was fantastic in the episode.
Oh yeah, it really blew my fucking mind that like her power is
Marie's. Wow,
it's not just like, oh, I blow up heads. It's like, no, she fucks with the blood like Marie.
Marie blows up dicks and she blows up heads.
That's a head of a different kind, but
yeah,
yeah.
I need that head. Do not clip that. Do not clip that. That was bad. That was bad.
2:11:45.
No.
Let it be known on this day.
Stop typing. What are you doing? Don't be rash.
I'm rash. I didn't put it as a specific like colon time code, so they have to they have to work to get there.
Anyways,
I need that.
I think thematically, Victoria Newman fit in terms of this show is all about these children, these college students, these young adults being manipulated in different ways from parental figures. Well, Marie was being manipulated by Shetty, and that turned into Kate being manipulated by Shetty. And then you had Andre with his dad, Polaris. You had, Emma and her mother. You had Sam, or you had Luke and Brink. Then you had Jordan and Brink. Like, these parental figures are manipulating and traumatizing these children and these young adults, and they have to navigate their trauma, navigate their powers. And I think what episode 7 is finally delivering on is like, okay, we're getting out of our parents and guardians and pseudo guardian shackles. What do we do now? And I think what we have now for us is Kate and Marie going on 2 different directions here of how to proceed in terms of what is just and what is correct. And there is no right answer here, but for Kate and Sam, who approved of it, it involved killing Shetty. That was their route. That was their idea of justice. While Marie and Jordan were all like, hey, let me save her because Shetty's awful, but this isn't how we navigate our troubles. It isn't just killing those that came before us.
It was also really bad that it was in the same way that she lost her parents.
Exactly. So that's just hearing Kate say, I'm sorry, Marie. I'm like, that's good shit. Awful, but good.
And she's like the only person that she was controlled to not do anything because nobody else would have done anything.
Exactly.
Oh, fuck. Why can't I be this good of a writer?
Kate is a fantastic character. You're right. Me doing the short edits of Marie's parents flashing before her eyes. This show is perfect.
I'm stealing. I'm stealing the flash edits of a memory. It's too good.
Whatever that happened in fiction, 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10.
Someone just staring at you, just like 4 frames.
What were we watching that happened recently?
The Exorcist.
Exorcist. I think it was some kind of anime, Attack on Titan.
Oh, really?
What was I watching? It was just like boom, boom, just like, oh wow, like happens a lot. I'm gonna lose it. But anyways, so yeah, that was really interesting. But going back to your earlier question
I don't
with
think I finished
the
my question.
uh, but you were talking about the virus.
I was saying that up for my point.
Oh, sorry.
So like it seems the goal is that they're gonna unleash this virus, and a big driving force is it to kill Homelander, which is like, hey, cool. But also the other soups should be able to live. Or
My thing with that though, real quick, is that I tweeted out. I'm like, that seems like a very cool plot point, but with it now being in Victoria Newman's hands, is it going to have anything to do with what we see in the finale, or is this going to be a Boys season 4 carryover?
That's what I was gonna ask. Is like, do you think we get a Gen V season 2, or do you think
We're getting that,
or do you think they were just gonna fold over Gen V into the Boys moving forward?
both, right? I think they already confirmed it's Gen V season 2.
Oh, okay.
It's happening. I thought I tweeted this to you, or it was in the group chat. It was in the main group chat. I don't know.
I mean, I was like 4 episodes late to starting Gen V. So
true. It was last week. Gen V season 2 is confirmed, but Eric, forget your last name, buddy, but showrunner from The Boys and Gen V said plot points from Gen V will lead directly into season 4 of The Boys, and Boys season 4 will lead directly into Gen V season 2.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm thinking this whole, because it felt very Homelander created, and I was asking Jalen this, and he didn't remember, but I forget where Newman was by the end of season 3. Did she have a stalemate with Homelander, right? Because I think season 3 was about her and Homelander, right? Like kind of like vying for positions of power and authority.
Yeah.
But she couldn't really do anything because it's fucking Homelander.
Yeah.
But now that she has this leverage, I think Newman's arc in season 4 of The Boys could be about finally having some kind of leverage against Homelander. Because I think she's also a very interesting character where she also, isn't she still loyal to Stan? Am I forgetting something? Her father?
She betrayed Stan Edgar.
She and Homelander worked to get Stan out of that position of power. But with Homelander in power, she's still not in a great position.
I think if I remember correctly, it was ultimately Homelander. She did that so Homelander would give her some compound V so she could give it to her daughter to protect her.
Yes. And at the end of Newman's arc in season 3?
I know she was like still running politically, which we
see here. She's not doing super well politically, but she's not doing awful either. She has supporters on both sides.
Yeah. Now I don't remember. Has she killed a soup?
In general?
Yeah. Well, I mean, like on screen, have we only seen her pop the heads of humans? Because it makes me, because if she can pop the head of soups, it makes me wonder, like, can you kill Homelander?
She tried that season 3. He's like, try it, and she didn't. I assume it wouldn't work.
I thought it was a power play at that point.
It could have been. It could have been a power play, but I don't think Homelander's that. He is a cocky kid. What am I saying? But
he's very, until he got his ass kicked at the Herogasm.
Exactly. I don't think it would work. Especially now that we know it is Marie's powers. Marie has the ability to do that. What she's basically doing is like expanding blood vessels, right? If you're somebody,
the guy's dick.
If you're somebody as durable as Homelander, I think his durability is within his blood vessels. So I think his durability would counteract that, because his durability is innate to his physical biology. So I don't think she would have the ability to combust him. Doesn't mean that he won't feel pain, right? I think he can still feel pain from like the expansion.
Honestly, I would love a sequence if we did like a blood bending style freezing him for limiting his mobility.
Yeah, right. So like yeah, you haven't finished Legend of Korra, but like people can counteract bloodletting if you're strong enough. You can
Counteract.
you
Oh,
can like I can still move, right? Um,
that's insane.
it's pretty badass. So I think that's something that Homelander could probably do too as well. But anyways, I going back to the original question again. I think we won't see this. If I had to guess, I don't think this virus thing is going to be relevant. I don't think we see Newman in the finale. I don't think we see the virus in the finale. Um, Now, this is something I would originally hate, and I've made fun of this in Mandoverse stories where I'm just like, why is she here just to tease us for a season, for a show, whatever. But because the boys is already established, I'm more invested in that storyline.
Mm-hmm.
And I wouldn't care if this virus thing is not in the finale. Because I don't think it's that relevant. I think what is relevant to the finale is like getting the word out about the woods,
Mm-hmm.
and getting that handled. The repercussions of Shetty's death, how do they handle that? The virus, now that it's taken away from their hands, what can the kids do about it? Nothing, right? They don't even know where it is right now because Newman has it. So it's like, how will they connect it in the finale? I don't know. So I feel like the finale is just going to be about like, hey, Kate's going down this way. Sam is now super like pro soups, um, which is also another Boys season 4 thing. By the end of the Boys season
Mm-hmm.
4, Homelander thought like, "Fuck, I can't do anything now." But when he killed that guy, and he has his kid with him, he has the support of his kid. He has the support of the super public and
Mm-hmm.
of the normal public. People like his Sam's stepdad, whatever his name is.
Yeah, and it's
Um,
interesting. You hear in the background during the season, Genevieve, that Homelander is going to be facing some type of trial.
Yeah. So I think we're gonna get like the trial of like people like obviously here. This was a short tease of that. Like, hey, we love you, Homelander. We love what you did there. Yeah, because soups are power. Like, exert your authority. Soups are should be having power. Like just like Sam's saying here, right?
Yeah, it
Um,
was interesting watching the crowd like yell like, "Oh, fuck human soups deserve rights," and I'm sitting here like, "Motherfucker, you were born human."
right. This is very much a play on like cops, right? Like blue
Mm-hmm.
lives matter, right? Cops lives matter. Soups
Mm-hmm.
lives matter. It's like you're already in a position of authority. You're already in a superior position based off of your abilities already. Like you shouldn't be proclaiming that your lives matter, right? But they do. But it's this is more complex than cops than blue lives matter.
It falls
But
under like the odd desire of wanting to be a victim as well for the sympathy.
that's what I'm trying to say. Thank you. Because yeah, because their lives do matter. Like they were literally test subjects that we see at the beginning of this episode. Them being like test subjects for this pathogen. It's very
Yeah,
sickening
it's
and
awful.
it's awful. And for a lot of them, 90% of them, I would assume, parents are doing this without the kids' will. Right? Kate didn't ask for this. Marie didn't ask for this. Half of them didn't ask for this, but their parents are doing it without them asking before they're even born most of the time. So so like their lives do matter, but at the same
Yeah,
time, this idea that Stan was proclaiming that like, hey, our lives matter in parentheses more than theirs, right, and more
yeah,
than everybody else's. Like they're, but for Sam, I understand though, given his history of being trapped, of being caged, he wants to have the idea of freedom. However, the idea of freedom is trampling on others. He's kind of having
yeah.
a Ken effect, right? Where it's like now that he's free, it's like yeah, boys rock, but also fuck the girls. So it's very awkward. Um,
It's very X-Men in a way of like, they're, so many mutants are oppressed and there are some that, are like, well, we still have to be, a good example, and then there's like Magneto's type of followers that are like, but we deserve more than these people who disparage us.
exactly, which is why I think that's what finale is going to be about. Where Marie is kind of like the Xavier side of it, where it's like, yeah, we have been persecuted in the past and it's awful, but there's a justice there's a just way of doing things.
Mhm.
Meanwhile, Kate and Sam, who have had a bit more traumatic backstories, are more like, yeah, but we need to go further, which I think the finale is going to be all about. Another theory: none of these heroes are dying. We're not losing Kate. People have been asking me like, "Hey, Evan, you think we're going to lose Kate?" Nope. We're not losing Kate. We're not losing Sam. We're not losing Marie. We're not losing Jordan. We're not losing Andre. What we could be losing is Polaris, Andre's dad. What we could be losing is like these parental figures that have been like all over these kids.
Also, what a captivating scene where he's in the ambulance with his dad, who I guess is having a type of seizure, so his powers are like crumbling the
Yeah,
the truck, and he has the same power, so he's trying to like counteract it.
that was awesome. Great
Wow.
scene. This episode was a lot because every single character had a plot point.
Yeah.
Emma's looking for Sam. Andre's helping his dad. Kate's doing this with Shetty. Great. Give Emma, or not give Emma, give a awards performance to Kate there, who was trying to like work Shetty at the
Yeah.
beginning, and then I kept saying like, you can't play Shetty. Shetty's a genius. He ain't gonna fall for this shit. But then it comes to roost. But we learn more about history about Shetty, which is so fucking awesome.
Mm.
Shetty's husband and daughter died in the plane crash from season 1, which was a great backstory, very justifiable. Because I've been wondering, like, Shetty's just asking.
Which one was it? The one that Homelander didn't try to save, or the one that he lasered down? It was a laser, right?
He lasered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is there
Because
another one?
there's yeah, when him and Maeve are on that plane and they like
It's the same one.
Well, there's two different ones. Like I think in the very first episode, Homelander goes and like just lasers down a plane. Like that kid's looking out the window, looking at him, and he fires from the sky. That's the one I was thinking about.
Oh no.
But yeah, I mean it could be. It's either way.
I assumed it was the Maeve one. That was the more impactful one.
That's fair.
So yeah, home because then they say like the excuse was that Marie says, I thought that was like a terrorist thing, and that was the excuse that Maeve and Homelander went with in season 1.
Yeah.
But yeah, so as a person who hated Shetty for what she's been doing with Luke and Sam and all those kids and Kate, I was like, I literally tweeted out last week, Shetty needs to go. Then to get to this episode, understand her backstory, and I'm still like, she needs to go, but like
it was
man.
funny going into that scene because the way it was framed, I was like, is this a trick? Is this a trap? Is she actually being controlled? Is this a ploy?
I knew it wasn't a trick from the beginning. But it did kind of set us up there because as soon as Kate's eyes were red, I was like, oh man, so she's already put her work in on Shetty. Shetty was like physically shaking. I'm like, oh, this isn't a ploy. She's nervous. Especially when he started dropping truth bombs about what happened to her children. I'm like, oh, Shetty's not lying anymore. She's giving truths because she wants to, get out of the situation. And just her cutting her neck was full on. What's that one movie with Invisible Man where it just like did not see that coming? I'm like, wow, we're gonna lose Shetty here. Wow. So yeah, we've lost Brink, we've lost Shetty. What is next for these people? What do these college students? Where do they go from here?
I've also it kind of some might view it as like a bit more like laid back and to the side, but I've been loving Jordan as a character, and their journey.
Laid back to the side.
No, I mean, like we have like intense focus of like Marie and Kate and everybody, and just in terms of like their flashy powers. I love
the
Jordan.
most popular character of the show.
Come now.
She is. We talk. They are.
Is she?
Are
they? Okay,
yes.
I've followed like on media.
Oh,
that's awesome.
You're not on the fandom, but I would say that it goes Jordan, Marie, Kate in terms of popularity.
Well, that's wonderful because yes, I love Jordan.
Jordan's the best character, easily.
I love the literal trans journey of the character.
Incredible.
I love because I believe Jordan was a born male, and so
I think so.
Because like specifically like when they're at the ball with like their parents, like they deliberately like turn to a woman, in spite, which pisses off the father. And
Hey, can you not do that in front of me, please?
right, and I really felt the distress when like they're trapped in Kate's mind, and
Whew.
I can't change. And as soon as they get out, immediately Jordan changes.
Yeah.
Just like, oh, it's so fucking good.
Jordan's such a great character. So good. And people have been making fun of the male actor, saying he's worse than the female actor.
I think it's a great
Um,
cast on both
I
sides.
think it's great on both sides.
I th-
I won't give shit to the male actor.
I think the casting is wonderful in terms of like their similar look, because that's the idea of like the transition between the
Yep.
two. The casting is spot on. Both
Casting's
actors
spot on.
are phenomenal,
I agree. And the romance between them and Marie,
which I didn't see coming,
never saw coming.
and I'm so on board.
And I'm on board. I love it. Like I'm in minority. I liked Kate and Andre. I think Kate and Andre is very messy. I love a good messy relationship.
Which is
Especially
it unveiled
realizing
more
that
and more. Yeah.
what
Yeah, it unveiled more with like their actual history.
and they did it
While Luke was around.
while Luke was around. I'm like,
I was like, oh no.
okay, Andre, okay, not great, not great,
It's not okay.
you're not okay at all. But the messier it is, the more fun and entertaining it is as a ship.
Yeah.
And I think Andre really does have feelings for Kate, and Kate really does have feelings for Andre. So I cannot wait to see that relationship grow. But yeah, Marie and Jordan, so unexpected, but I loved it. And I even rewatched like part of the episodes just to see a better through line. It is there.
Sam and
And
Emma, I really like.
Sam and Emma's fantastic. I love how last week when they were all in their mindscape with Kate's mind thing, going through all their traumas. Meanwhile, Sam and Emma are just fucking for 45 minutes.
It's amazing. There's a ship with everybody.
What?
Everybody has a ship.
Well, this show is built for me. I'm like, everybody has a ship. It's romantic as hell. It's traumatic as hell.
I'm like, hey, if you guys like that, you should guys check out Time Blazer.
Check out Time Blazer. Does everybody have a ship in Time Blazer?
Everybody but one, but it's by choice.
The turtle guy doesn't have a ship.
No, there's a family.
Oh, okay. But yeah, this show was just it's nailing it on all fronts. I'm so excited for the finale. Jordan and like you said, Jordan Marie's relationship is so well defined. They're so awkward. I love that whole awkward episode where they're just like, well, we apparently I think we had sex, but we don't remember. So then it's like Jordan's like, well, we can kind of like brush it off, but I only brushed it off because I thought Marie wanted to brush it off. And then Marie silently.
Oh my god!
Like, it was just back and forth, and Marie's like,
the angst.
Well, maybe like I don't know how I feel about it, and it's like, how? What do you mean you don't know how you feel about it?
I think one of the friends called out just like, fucking, just come on.
Yeah. Oh man, it's so good. It's so good. Wow. And then last week was it? 2 weeks ago, the ending where they finally realized who Kate is. In case it's like, I'm sorry, and then Andre's single tear. I'm just like, oh my god. It was so good. But then last week, seeing the Soldier Boy cameo was hilarious.
Yeah, that threw me.
Tickle that niggle. Not great.
I had no idea how that was functioning in this because I heard about it, but like
me too.
I was like, didn't he die? When does this take place? What? Or not die, but he's locked up. I'm like, what the fuck? But yeah, that was great.
Definition of a brilliant cameo.
Jensen Ackles is too good.
He's too good. I tweeted out, he's my favorite racist on TV. I love the guy.
You did tweet that.
He's my favorite racist. He's great.
I was like, do I like this?
I love it. My favorite racist commie.
Yeah.
But
what was he going off like? I'm a red-blooded American. Now call me red, white, and blue, red. Oh my god.
Oh man, yeah, Jensen Ackles is incredible as him. But yeah, man, this show is just the character dynamics are so subtle and not subtle at all, which just makes it so rich. Yeah. The power dynamics are really cool. And again, the theme about like these parental figures in their lives being both a source of trauma in the past and a source of trauma in the present with these pseudo guardians and Shetty and Brink and how they are present day affecting these people's minds and how they function with their other relationships and how Brink really affected Jordan. And Jordan's also a very messy character. They're really selfish at the beginning. Jordan would just wanted to be number one, and she hated Marie because they just wanted to be number one. And even to the point of when they go to the Mindscape thing, Jordan knew about what was happening to Luke, but just didn't say anything so they can get a higher position in Brink's, group authority. And so Jordan's a very selfish character, and I like that. Andre's a very like selfish and messy character. I like that. Marie was also very selfish at the beginning too, just being like, "Fuck you guys, I just want to live my life," kind of thing. But then she kind of like is changing course now. Their arcs are so well defined for having a large cast. Which again, a lot of shows have trouble with. We're just dealing with a large cast and giving them well-defined arcs in the span of 8 episodes.
Yeah.
It's just so good. It's a fantastic 10 out of 10 show for me so far. So
yeah, it's phenomenal.
Yeah,
that's
pretty much it. So we've talked about Exorcist Believer. We've talked about 2 episodes of Loki, and now a Gen V sum up. We'll do a finale review next week because again, I have no idea what they're going to do for this finale. But we shall
talk about
see.
some -1.
Yeah, we talked about -1, +1, +2, -2. Godzilla squared. Anyways,
It's our time, everybody. All right.
Find me on Twitter.
Don't find him. Don't find him.
What? Oh
No.
shit!
No,
Oh
go
shit!
ahead.
Oh shit! Oh shit!
Oh shit.
Find me on Twitter.
Remember, go there. Find Evan here.
Don't do that. Not great. Oh no.
Oh, the chat's gonna love it.
I still hate Nathan for tweeting out my Exorcist 3 jump scare.
Evan, I regret to inform you, I uploaded that to YouTube. It's currently at 2,500 views.
You're joking.
I'm not.
You're joking. I don't believe you.
And like it petered out, but that was like basically within less than 24 hours.
No way.
It's fucking insane. Probably because probably because I think it was a good title. But greatest jump scare in history reaction, Exorcist 3. And you have probably given me the most golden thumbnail face I have ever put in any of my over 1,000 plus videos I have done on this channel.
You're welcome.
You're amazing.
That was a genuine. I love that jump scare. That was delicious. That really got me. That was fantastic.
It's so funny the way I'm editing. I'm like zooming into the background with the guard, and you're like, "Where are you going, buddy? You're on shift duty." It's so funny.
Oh man! But again, find me on Twitter #EV9. Tomorrow, I'll be doing a commentary with Edgar about The Mist. So I think we're doing The Mist on Sunday, and then we're gonna watch Drag Me to Hell sometime next week.
Some Raimi action.
Yeah. Oh, that's Raimi?
That's Raimi.
Oh.
2009 Raimi.
Wow. Well, that's after Spider-Man 3 Raimi.
It is.
Oh, wow. Okay, cool. I didn't know that was Raimi. I just heard of the movie title and thought, okay, that could be fun.
It's post Spider-Man 3, but pre Oz the Great and Powerful.
Oh, that was a movie. Never saw it. Yeah, we're doing that. So follow me on Twitter for when I go live for those. What else am I doing? Just living life. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Watching anime, reading books, doing the thing.
You can catch me _Time Blazer, making a show called Time Blazer with co-starring creative consultant Evan Harris.
Oh, playing Ben. I was like, what am I going to say?
How will they know?
The best character.
There you go. Very excited for more. I know I keep saying that I've yet to deliver, but it's cooking. It's simmering. The slower the cook, the better the taste.
Also, the latest trailer for Attack on Titan debuted yesterday, and I was watching it a million times. It is amazing. The end of Attack on Titan is in 7 days, or now 6 days. And,
have you already
what?
You read the ending?
Yeah. I read it years ago. Controversial ending of the manga. So I'm very curious to see how people, react to it in modern time. If it's better because of the animation, or people hate it again. People are probably gonna hate it again. But
hate it again for the first time.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm excited. Attack on Titan is one of my favorite stories of all the fiction, and I'm not ready for it to end. It's gonna be very emotional for me, but I'm excited. I'll be ready.
Nice. That being said, if you guys enjoyed this, make sure you like button, subscribe now, already ring the bell so you miss the Loki penultimate episode coverage, the Gen V finale coverage, and -1. That being said, hope you have a great day. Catch you guys next time.